Roll. Liquor shots of Davy Crockett on the bicentennial. Hey, can y'all hear me? How y'all doing? We got a few people up in here already. Y'all are early. Oh, wow. Got to catch my breath. Hey, Johnny, thank you so much for your super chat. Johnny coming straight out the gate with the oh shit, the saga continues. Yes. Got me thinking about Wu-Tang. And well, I'm gonna say that for later, but yeah. Hey Oro, what's up? We got a diggable planet up in the house. First diggable planet, Oro. Hope you're doing well. We got Joy up in the house. The Ick Yo, Dr. Ken. Joy, you said I don't think anyone has ever done one on him. Done one on who? Hey, the Scar Al, how you doing? Hey, Abu, how you doing? Hey, Felicia. Hey, King and Wands. We got Angela, another diggable planet up in the house. We got the Golden Owl, another diggable planet up in the house. Hey, Tracism. We got Simply Cleve up in the house. Hey, Irrational. Stacy W. Low Key Kimmy up in the house. Gloria, what's up? Hey, Siobhan, another diggable planet up in the house. Hey, Kiki. Earth Angel. Earth Angel. Will you be mine? My darling dear. Love you all the time. I'm just a fool. Who else we got? ADAP, what's up? A fool in love with you. I ain't gonna lie. Every season, when it, each new sign, we're in Aries season right now. I be focused on Aries related things, and I'm sure a lot of y'all go through this too. But if you haven't noticed it, just be more conscious of how Aries is dominating your life right now. So this afternoon, I was watching videos of dudes on dirt bikes riding through the streets, evading the police. And I was getting all turned on and hot and bothered because I am kind of attracted to that whole like daredevil stunt type of dude, bad boy. Like, but I don't think I could date one like that was ripping through the streets like that, putting his life at risk as well as others. But I do like to see dudes that got some skills, and these dudes had some riding skills. I was just like, damn. So I just posted a video clip on my Instagram of these dudes riding through the street. And I was like, that's Mars and Aquarius in the third house, just taking a ride with friends. But they was zooming through the streets, flying through the streets, getting away from the cops. And a lot of these dudes, they taunt the cops. So being a road rebel, that's very much like Mars and Aquarius in the third house. Taking chances. Hey NYC. Hey Isaac. Hey Akeda. Happy Saturday. Yes. Hey Aya, how you doing? Let's see who else we got. Virgin Love. Make me think of tender love. Tender love. Tender love. Oh, so tender. Holding me close to you. Baby, I surrender. Remember that song? Candles, they light the dark. Now I see how. Hey, LaBoo, how you doing? Lovely the feelings are. Tender love. Man, that is our R&B classic. Especially when he be hitting that high note. He be like, cherish me straight from the heart. Did you hit me up with another? Oh no, that came later. No, is that two super chats, Johnny? Yeah, thank you, Johnny. Oh, that's your parents' song. You said their tragic relationship, though. Well, I bet at some time it was tender, and they could relate to that song. You know, relationships the whole way through ain't always going to be tender, but and a lot of relationships they just don't last. That's just the way it is. Yes, we got to do an update on Will Smith, and the good thing is tonight's live stream is about Mars in Aquarius, and Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, has Mars in Aquarius. That's why you see her on the thumbnail. So she's a perfect representative of how Mars in Aquarius can manifest. So we're going to get into her. She's going to be the main theme, or I'll say the main attraction for tonight, but I'm going to also talk about some other Mars in Aquarius celebrities. Yes, Opus 642, Tender Love. Hey, Undercover Astrology. You said Saturn is square my Mars in the third house. You got a flat tire. Damn. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, that's definitely some flat tire shit with Saturn. Siobhan got Mars in. That's right. You got Mars in Aquarius. Ain't it conjoined to your South Node? Yeah, that's some heavy Mars in Aquarius energy. Siobhan, have you ever been with a dude that take like risk and like be kind of wild out? Because for women and gay men, Mars and Aquarius will deal with the type of man that they attract, the type of man that they can end up with. Yup, Tupac has Mars and Aquarius too. So that explains, that's part of the reason why Jada and him were so close and they clicked so well, unlike her and Will Smith. But let's get into some current events. So as y'all know, this woman has been confirmed for the Supreme Court Justice. What's her name? Hold on. Because I got her chart. Ketanji Brown Jackson. So she recently been confirmed for the United States Supreme Court Justice. And you know, that's a lifetime position. So basically, you have that until you die. Now, there was some controversy involving some of her past rulings. I don't know if some of y'all watched the confirmations or the what was it called, the confirmation hearing or whatever. I knew that she was going to get in regardless. It was all a dog and pony show. Is that what you call it? It was all, you know, they do this and it's part of the whole rituals and stuff they got to go through. So it was kind of like part of her humiliation ritual to get to where she is destined to be. So part of what was so controversial about some of her past rulings was that she was rather light on sex offenders, namely child predators. And I watched some of the clips where they were drilling her and they was really, you know, trying to get at the heart of the matter as to why she was so light with her sentencing. So of course, you know me, I had to pull this woman's chart. And my first thing is, and according to what I was hearing, it did seem like she was being extra light. So my thing is, I pulled her chart, and the first thing I was looking for to see if she had any connection in her chart to the asteroid Hebe, because that can be an indicator for some child predator stuff. Not saying that she's one, but I'm saying that could deal with her connection to them. Now, that could just say, oh, yeah, she's dealt with them. She's been face to face with them in terms of her work. She does have Mars in Virgo, but let me just tell y'all real quick what's going down real quick in her chart. Now, she got a whole stellium in Virgo, which makes her a good public servant. That's a big part of the reason why she's risen to the top. Now, in terms of that asteroid Hebe, and again, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it can be an indicator for child predators. So she has Mars running parallel to Hebe, and Mars is conjoined to her South Node in Virgo, and it's opposing her Pisces moon and her North Node in Pisces. That makes me think that she's sympathetic towards them. So I'm like, okay, if she's sympathetic towards them, why? And I'm like, maybe she just come from one of those families where that shit run in there and she's just generational, you know, that it could even go down to that SRA, that sexual or satanic ritual abuse or whatever. but she might be part of that family, one of those families. And wasn't her parents in the military? They have some type of military connections. She's not your person that came up from the bottom. Trust me. So she has connections. Hold on, let me pull up this Wikipedia real quick because I gotta just share my thoughts on this woman. And I'm just always skeptical about anybody that rises to power, especially a high position like this. And especially her being a Black woman. You know, they don't put us in positions of power unless we've been compromised. That's just the way it goes. So let me just read about her parents real quick. Jackson was born Ketanji Brown on September 14th, 1970 in Washington, D.C. Her parents were both graduates of historically Black colleges and universities. Her father, Johnny Brown, was a lawyer who ultimately became the chief attorney for the Miami-Dade County School Board and is a graduate of the University of Miami School of Law. Her mother, Ellery, served as school principal at New World School of the Arts. New World School of the Arts kind of makes me think of New World Order. It's kind of interesting. While she was in college, Jackson's uncle, Thomas Brown Jr., was sentenced to life in prison for a nonviolent cocaine conviction. Interesting. Years later, Jackson persuaded a law firm to take his case pro bono, and President Barack Obama eventually commuted his sentence. Another uncle, Calvin Ross, served as Miami's police chief. Jackson grew up in Miami, Florida, and graduated from Miami Palmetto Senior High School, blah, 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 blah. She studied government at Harvard University. During college, she performed improv comedy. That's weird. And took classes in drama and led protests against a student who displayed a Confederate flag from his dorm window. Jackson graduated from Harvard in 1992 with an A.B. magna cum laude, having written a senior thesis entitled The Hand of Oppression, Plea Bargaining Processes, and the Coercion of Criminal Defendants. So she's all for the defense, which I feel like is a bit unbalanced for her to be a Supreme Court justice. But like I said, she got that Virgo stellium in her chart, and that can make her a faithful servant. Thank you, Bill Clinton, nigga son. Let me get to your super chat in just a minute. Thank you so much. And then let me see, somebody else posted a super chat. Thank you, Marley, for your super chat. Is that just you showing me some love? Is that? Thank you so much. And Bill Clinton's nigga son, I'm going to get to you in a minute. All right. Let me just finish up this woman's chart real quick. So she got her sun conjoined to Pluto. That can deal with where she can be corrupt in some type of way. She could be under the influence of others a bit too much, lacking free will. Could also be some strong sexual themes. Could even be sexual abuse at the hands of the father or some type of father figure in her life when she was growing up. Just having Mars conjoined to the South Node alone in Virgo, quincunx her Chiron and Aries, that could deal with sexual abuse that she experienced when she was younger. She also has Venus conjoined to Jupiter and Scorpio. That's why she's all about the defense. That's a hypersexual aspect. And it's forming a quincunx with Chiron. She got a yacht involving those aspects. The quincunx between Chiron and Aries, Venus conjoined to Jupiter and Scorpio. Y'all know Scorpio, so y'all know that's some heavy sexual energy. So I'm almost certain she grew up in one of them families where some things were, not kosher, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, she don't have any planets in Sagittarius. She only has Uranus in Libra, and that's badly aspected. It's not even forming positive aspects. For somebody to be a good Supreme Court justice, I would expect them to have at least one planet in Sagittarius or be a Sagittarius rising, which she could be. I don't know what time she was born. And have a personal planet in Libra. And if you only have Uranus in Libra, it needs to be making at least a positive aspect, like a trine or a sextile. I don't see none of that in her chart. And when she was basically answering those questions, she didn't seem too bright. Seemed like she was basically propped up into this position. Dr. Ken said sexual abuse is like 80% in the Black community. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Mm-hmm. All right, let me get to your question. You said, how are you? Thank you. I'm doing fine. What does Mars and Virgo in the 11th house mean? Well, number one, that's good for working in the tech field, like being information technology, some type of like computer data analyst, or um, repairing computers, uh, working in like the cable industry, installing cable, things like that. If you wanted to just talk about like the blue collar positions, or positions where you got to put a little work into it. But Mars and Virgo in the 11th house can also enable you to be very analytical and very accurate when it comes to forecasting. And there's different forms of forecasting. There's the astrological forecasting, you got your financial forecasting, but you're also good at really planning for the future too, with that Mars and Virgo in the 11th house. Now, with that, you could run into some issue with a male friend needing too much of your help, especially if Mars is afflicted. So you got to watch out for a friend becoming too dependent upon you. There could be times where you seek out help through a friend as well. So it could go both ways with that hookup. Sexually, you could be very experimental. I mean, you could be down down for whatever with that Mars and Virgo in the 11th house. That's a little freak nasty placement. I just gotta say it. You down for whatever. But that's like more power to you. Get your freak on. But you might even be into like being a little submissive too. I'm just saying. So, but yeah, you probably will perfect your technique sexually at some point as well. So I would say in general, that's not too bad of a placement at all. That Mars and Virgo in the 11th house, you can really use that constructively. And it doesn't have to be so much about on a personal level with you. It could be also where you work with friends, or you gain friends through your line of work. So yeah, it's not a bad thing at all. All right, we got Temperance. Thank you for your super chat. You said my Mars, Jupiter, and Pisces behind wanted to bless you with some shmoney. Thank you. Thank you for this live stream tonight, Rob. All right, I'm pumped because but when I was preparing for my live stream, I was like, didn't I do Mars and Aquarius already? But I think it's because we didn't Aquarius season wasn't too long ago. Because I was like, why does it feel like I'm tongue twisted? Why does it feel like I've done this already? I'm seeing the same celebrity names and shit. Thank you, Reflection and Progression. You said, hi, what do you see happening with my new love interest? Uh-oh. Since you gave me $10, I'm gonna look at 2 cards for you in terms of what I see with your new love interest. How long ago did you meet this guy? Well, I shouldn't assume. Could be a guy, could be a girl. All right, what do I see happening? Okay. So I got the Chariot for the first card, and I'm looking at that card as more so the present. When I see that Chariot card, that makes me think that you're not fully on board with this dude. Like, you might even still got some other friend that you kind of lean on, or for some like just communication or just emotional closeness or whatever like that. He might be doing the same thing too. So I don't see where the two of you are very serious right now. Both of y'all are like, I'm gonna do me right now and see where this goes. So it's like y'all moving forward, but it's not like I don't see like this commitment thing yet. And it makes sense because it's only been a month. But if he's telling you that You're the only one. Don't believe him. And then I got the Six of Swords. So that's telling me that you're not really going to be feeling this dude. I'm going to give it a few weeks. Give it a few weeks and get back at me and let me know. Because I have a feeling he going to do something and this situation is going to take a left turn and you ain't going to be like feeling it. So I see you basically moving on. Dr. Ken said a month is plenty of time. All right. So that's Ketanji again. And just looking at her face, and she got a big ass head. Hold on, let me see what she got in her chart that can make that head so swole. She does have Mars and Virgo, quincunx, Chiron, and Aries. That's her trying to use hairstyles to hide that big ass dome she got. It ain't really a big ass dome. She just got like a watermelon head. So with that, that Mars and Virgo, quincunx, Chiron, and Aries, she be trying. That's why she got those braids like that, because she trying to hide that elongated watermelon face. But yeah, I'm not feeling this lady. I don't trust her, and she might be part of the whole, what do you call it, the grooming period, which we are in. You know, they're moving towards making that whole underage, you know, between a older and a younger person. I don't even want to say the words. Well, you know, they're trying to push that agenda. So she might be part of the players involved. Hey, Kawhi, thank you for your super chat. You said, how can I improve my financial situation? All right. So September 11th. You said, boy, she hit somebody with that thing, right? She got a big ass head. She don't have much of a neck either. You got to watch those people with heavy Virgo energy. And she got Sun conjunct Pluto and Virgo. You got to watch them because they're the type, they will do anything for their masters. You know who that reminds me of? Like that Sun conjunct Pluto and Virgo. Who had that in the movie? That Samuel Jackson's character in what you call it? The Django Unchained. In my opinion, that's what that's what he would have in his chart. And she got it. Remember how he was so willing to serve his master and he was snitching on the other slaves and shit? And he was a straight up coon? Yeah, she's that type. All right. And again, not saying everybody with that conjunction is like that. All right, what am I looking for? Oh, you said, how can I improve my financial situation? Okay. Looks like you have to put your skills and talents to better use, because I got the Queen of Wands for you. You need to, if that means getting a second job in addition to the one you have, or going back to school to get some skills under your belt, taking a training program, something like that, that's what you need to do. I also got the Ace of Pentacles, and that could deal with getting a new job and not being afraid to ask for what you want in terms of pay. Of course, reasonably, but you know, you may not want to take the first thing offered if you feel like you're worth more than that. So don't sell yourself short when it comes to a job and the salary, and also develop some skills. You got to sharpen up your skill set. All right. So there was another current event. What was it? Oh, T.I. Did y'all see that video with T.I. yelling at the comedian and then he hugged her all tight? And it was like he whispered something in her ear, like telling her to shut the fuck up about this whole comedy thing. Did y'all see that shit? And T.I. got, what does he have in his chart? He got an Aries moon opposing his Mercury and what is it, Pluto and Libra. And that could cause him to do exactly that. He just has conflict with women, period. He don't respect women. Thank you, NYC. You said, is the lady who reached out to me on Ancestry.com related to me by my absent father? Okay. Who's that lady? Who's that lady? Beautiful lady. Who's that lady? Real fine lady. Is the lady who reached out to me on Ancestry.com related to me from my absent father? I would love to take her home, but her heart is made of stone. Don't you do me. Who's that lady? Who's that lady? I got the world card, so that tells me that she is related to you. Who's that lady? So now, if she's asking you for money, I don't care if she's related. I'd be like, look, I don't even know you like that. But it does look like she's part of your family tree, your family circle. Who's that lady? Who's that lady? You're going to be driving. That song going to come on NYC. Who's that lady? But breaking bread with her just because she's some type of distant cousin or something, I don't know about all that. Especially because your father was absent. I'm like, you know, I'm just like, where were you when I needed you last winter? Sometimes you gotta, you know, turn your heart a little cold. Sometimes you just gotta be a little cold with it. So that's all I'm saying. If she asks you for money, you know, that might be another issue. All right. So what else was I talking? Oh yeah, I was talking about T.I. So yeah, that was cringe. That was cringe. And is it because T.I. really wants attention and because he ain't hot no more in terms of his music? He needs some attention. You know he's been trying to be a comedian. Let me pull up this situation with T.I. real quick. T.I. at the comedy club. And this looked like some rinky-dink little club. He sure don't mind being around his peeps like that. And this man got all this money, but that just shows you how much respect he has because nobody be trying to rob his ass. He in there looking like a wild hooligan.
Born night at a comedy show in Atlanta.
All right, hold on. Let me share my screen. Won't you share my love? All right.
Over a comment that was made about him. According to Lauren Knight, T.I. began heckling the show, told her to take her wig off, to which she responded, "I'll take my wig off when you speak on the allegations." This then prompted T.I. to storm the stage to confront Knight over what she said. Now, this all comes just 1 week after Will Smith storming the stage to slap Chris Rock over a joke about his wife that he did not like. Lately, it seems like audience members have no problem approaching a comedian on stage over jokes that were told, which has a lot of people wondering, what does this mean for comedy? Today, we have our comedy hype analyst, Pierre, along with very special guest, Sky Townsend, calling into the show to give their reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
Evidence, because there was no fucking crime. There is nothing to charge me for. Or no, shut the fuck up for a second. Hey, listen. No. As many times as you joke on that shit, nigga, I'm gonna check your ass as long as it takes. Nigga, when you stop talking about it, when you stop playing with me and mine, I'ma stop saying something. Nigga, ain't no motherfucking case, ain't never been no motherfucking case, cause I ain't did nothing wrong, and my wife ain't did nothing wrong. You keep on playing with me, I'm gonna continue to confront you publicly, verbally.
How do
a court day. We've never had a forum on crime. T.I. is innocent. I truly believe it. See that for him. There is no charge. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Don't play with me back there. This is not that. This is a motherfucking comedy show. And be clear, if I want to make jokes about something, I'll make jokes about something. Absolutely. And no, you're not going to tell me to shut the fuck up. It's my shit. This is my shit. Be very clear. This is no way.
All right, y'all saw that foolishness. T.I. obviously got a problem. Looks like he wants to stay relevant so bad. And again, he's been trying to become a comedian. Now, let me just share my screen and pull up T.I.'s chart. And I'll just discuss a few things. And then we'll get into this Mars and Aquarius. So the reason why T.I. believes that he could be a comedian is because he has Moon trine Neptune. And that can deal with where people think that he's funny or where he's gotten feedback from people saying that he's funny. Yeah, I don't believe he's funny either. Don't listen to them. But see, with that Moon trine Neptune like that could be just people in his family or people that are close to him, or maybe even yes people that are laughing at his corny ass jokes. Because I don't think he's funny either. But yeah, he wants to be a comedian. And that Moon trine Neptune can cause him where he can become a comedian. But just because you can do something don't mean that you're good at it. So he could become a comedian just off of being T.I. His name basically will get him in the comedy door. But he basically has this issue with being criticized, issue with being told he's wrong, issue with being put on the spot. And instead of like just, saying, all right, I'm going to deal with it later, he can't handle it. And that's that opposition between his moon and also Mercury and Pluto. And then he got Mars conjunct Uranus and Scorpio, and that can make him very much about, look, this is going to go my way or no way. And if I tell you to stop doing something, you going to stop doing it. I'm going to force you, especially with that Scorpio influence. And that can cause him to fly off the handle. What else? And he got Sun conjunct Saturn. That's right. He's very controlling. He's the type that will try to shut the whole shit down if he don't like the way it's going. Yup. And that Sun conjunct Saturn, there it is too. He has a strong need to remain relevant. He has a strong need for recognition. He's prone to do everything in a publicized way as a way to get attention and validation with that Sun conjunct Saturn. So yeah, he's opportunistic. He won't pass up on an opportunity to be seen and heard and to be in the news, basically. The signal is real low. I hope I'm not buffering or anything. But yeah. And with his Venus in Leo, he's prone to create some drama from time to time. And he got Venus square Chiron. So yeah. Red Bunny said, "What's up, Red Bunny? Terribly insecure." Yes. All right, now let's get into this Mars and Aquarius business. Now, if you were present during my Aquarius live stream, a lot of what you heard during that live stream is going to sound very familiar because we are dealing with the same sign, Aquarius. However, Mars is more action oriented than the sun. So we were talking about the sun in Aquarius when we did that Aquarius live stream. And that's more on a generalized, or you can even say that's more on a core level in terms of what the person is in terms of their essence. But with Mars is about who you are, but it's also about what you do. how you operate, how you get down. It's representing your actions, the effort, your drive, your determination, your desires. It's representing how you manage your anger, how you express your anger and aggression. And it's also representing force. It's representing that primal energy, that instinctual, impulsive energy. So, Mars in Aquarius, that's more of an activated brand of Aquarius. So, we'll be getting into how Mars in Aquarius can manifest in particular. Thank you, Melanated Sun. You said, what card defines me as a person and what card represents my mate? I love this. Oh, I love stuff like this. So the first card I pull is going to define you as a person, and the second card is going to represent your mate. This is very philosophical and spiritual. I love this. All right. Thank you for your super chat. All right, so for you, I got the Ace of Pentacles. So in terms of how that defines you as a person, you're very friendly, you could say, or it's easy for you to be, cordial, inviting. You're trustworthy, reliable. You're also about getting those coins with that Ace of Pentacles. You're very helpful. That Ace of Pentacles is like you're a solid person. You're not the type that's going to be all wishy-washy. You like to be definitive and you like to be prepared for the future. You are very sound-minded with that Ace of Pentacles. And you're always looking for new opportunities, I'll say. Now, in terms of your mate, I got the Magician. Oh, I like that. That's the worker man. I'm going to go with the worker man. Yeah, that's the worker man. That's the can-do man. That's Mr. Good Stuff. Who do you think you are? Mr. Good Stuff. Yeah, that's Mr. Good Stuff. So, I mean, you can't get much better than the Magician when you're representing a mate. Basically, he knows how to turn you on. He knows how to keep your motor running. Lord have mercy. He basically knows how to get the job done. Highly skilled, I would say. Might even be licensed in terms of his work. Might even be multi-skilled. Might be multifaceted. This is a man that can, make you feel protected, make you feel provided for. And again, I said, man, I don't know what y'all cup of tea is, so I could be wrong, but yeah, I like the Magician. Both of these cards are very good, very positive. Hi, Mike. What's up, hi, Mike? You said what? Leo, Mars, 12th, Tri, Sagittarius, Pluto, and the 4th give. Well, that can be good for having some money that access financial insulation in terms of real estate investments. Also, that's really good for, let me see. I would say that's good for athletics, but I think about how that Pluto in the 4th would manifest. Or you could be working out at home, pumping iron, getting all built up, getting all buff, getting all shredded, cut up. Let me know if you work out, I might. Because you could be a sex symbol with that aspect. You really could. But also, that can enable you to receive some support from the ancestral realm, too. So don't be afraid to build yourself an altar. And it could, and more than likely, it's a male ancestor in particular that's looking out for you. And that could even help you further if you, create an altar in your home. Because that could be that Pluto and Sagittarius in the 4th. Build an altar to your ancestors. And, put things on the altar from time to time, like a cup of coffee or some water or some wine or some cigars or whatever. And yeah, acknowledge them and see how your life will start to really improve. All right, thank you. Thank you for your super chat reflection and progression. You said the Chariot and Six of Swords makes sense. He's traveling to come see me Tuesday and is probably looking to de-stress with Six of Swords. Okay. Yep, that could be traveling now. I'm curious to see how things are going to go when you see him. So could be something that kind of makes you reconsider. I'll just say that. Thank you, hi Mike. So you said also Mercury in the 12th sextile Gemini Lilith. Well, you could meet somebody, could be a special someone in your life, but they just want to be more on a friendly level. Hi, Mike said, wow, I've been researching more into the practice of hoodoo. Wow. Y'all, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes. Get on it and do it. Because you got that power at your disposal. Trust me, you're going to see some really good results with that. Yes. But yeah, that now speaking of what you just said, you could be undergoing some type of training or taking classes with someone with that Mercury sextile Gemini Lilith. She could be like a high priestess or a witch or something, very knowledgeable person. But I was also going to say that could be you talking to someone and you wanted to go to a romantic level, but they just want to be more of a, verbal, platonic type of situation. And it could be a very beneficial relationship, but you and the person just may not work out romantically. So you got to get what you can get from them. But even on a romantic level, that could be somebody that could be a stripper that you meet and y'all hit it off. Actually, thank you, Papa Ken. You said, hey, Rahbinah, I was wondering if I should leave my job and focus on my entrepreneurial endeavors. What should I do? I'm so conflicted. I love this question. I love questions about career. Hey, Oro, I got you. I'll do your question next. Should you leave your job and focus on your entrepreneurial endeavors? Hey, Teresa. Oh, wow, Papa Ken. I got the Tower card, which is a yes. That's a definite yes. The Tower. That's basically breaking out, breaking free, liberating yourself, doing your own thing. Yes. There it is. So, yeah, you're going to be fine. Hey, Oro, you said hope all is well. Yes, all is well with me. Hope all is well with you. I'm presently looking for a new job. Do you see me finding a new job within 1 to 3 months? All right, let's see. Oh, hi, Mike. That's what's exactly going on with the person that you talking to. with that Lilith aspect. Mm-hmm. All right, is Oro going to get a new job within 1 to 3 months? Okay, I got the Hierophant, which tells me yes. So it could be with a major corporation with that Hierophant. Like it might be where you got to adjust to a whole corporate culture and all that. But yeah, you'll definitely get one within 1 to 3 months. And then Avis. And after Avis, please hold off on your super chats because I got to get into this Mars and Aquarius because I can't be on too long tonight. What do you see for my love life? My boyfriend just ghosted me. Well, you know what? That was probably for a good thing. Sometimes in hindsight, we'll see that when people do that to us, it's for the best. We just couldn't see it at the time. All right. I got the Devil card. So that tells me, and I'm going to pull another card too. That Devil card right now is telling me that you could still be holding on, like chain around the brain in terms of this person. And that could be preventing you from meeting somebody that's really worth your while, number one. Number two, even if you meet somebody around this time, because I'm looking at this card in terms of the present, like what's happening right now, what could happen like in the near future. So that devil card can mean that anybody you meet in the near future is just going to be about sex. Now, if that's what you want, fine. But you said love. So with love, I don't see it right off the bat. Now, future, and this is more like future, I'll say 6 months from now, I got the Eight of Wands, and that could deal with like a whirlwind romance where it's just this passionate sex and, these good feelings and like you just on top of the world and stuff. But no, with the Eight of Wands, that shit can die down quickly. But it might just be what you need for the time being. But I don't know which way you go, like in terms of when you say love, what type of love? Are you talking about long-term monogamous commitment? Or are you talking about just experiencing love that lasts for a season or even a few weeks? All right, so let me get into this Mars and Aquarius business. So first we're going to talk about the bright side of Mars and Aquarius, and even some of the bright side can easily turn the wrong way. So with Mars and Aquarius, number one, you got to keep in mind that Mars rules the face and the head and also the hair. Matter of fact, let me pull up Jada Pinkett since I'm talking about hair. So she can be like the spokesperson for Mars and Aquarius right now. Or she's like the representative. So let's just get the hair situation out the way. Not with Jada right now in particular, but just in general with Mars and Aquarius, because again, Mars rules the head, the face, the hair, and Mars in particular is like really focused on the nose. Like there's a strong focus on the nose with Mars as well. So some people with Mars and Aquarius, they might change their nose. Now, some people with Mars and Aquarius, there's something odd or strange or unusual or abnormal about their hair. So with Jada saying that she has alopecia, that's very much indicative of one of the manifestations of Mars and Aquarius. Now, Jada has always worn short hairstyles and sometimes like very short. So, and I think she looks great. I think she looks great with this very low haircut. And I even question if she really had alopecia, because I was like, her hair looked real like laid. Like, even though it's like real short, she still got a buzz cut. And I don't see no bald patches, but I could be wrong. And somebody even said that that line on top of her head, that could be a scar from getting a brow lift. I don't know. She probably has alopecia. Now, you can have different types of alopecia. You can have the type of alopecia that comes from wearing weaves and wigs and all that type of stuff all the time. But with her having Mars in Aquarius, and I didn't even want to get into her right away, but I will just say this real quick. With her having Mars in Aquarius, she very well could go bald or have a very short haircut just because she want to. Just because she want to be unique, or that's just her way of being, very liberated, to liberate yourself of your hair. And I got another theory too, so hold on for that as I get into her chart. But for now, again, just think about what Mars represents. Mars, again, Mars can represent the face, including certain facial expressions. Crystal, you said, what about Mars and Pisces? We talk about Mars and Aquarius tonight. Now, when Mars enters Pisces, we'll be talking about Mars and Pisces. I'm going to do a Mars and Pisces live stream. But so Mars can also deal with some of the like facial expressions that a person makes, or like, how their face could even look in terms of like the, what do you call that? The phenotype and all that. Now, just think about what I said about Aquarius representing that smirk, like that Aquarian smirk. So some people with Mars and Aquarius could have that Aquarian smirk. So on the bright side, Mars in Aquarius could do some really great things. I mean, it can even produce superhuman powers. So it produces personal magnetism where people are just drawn to the person. It could be easy for them to get what they want out of people. When they need help, it's close by. When they set their sights upon something, it's easy for them to get it. And that's that personal magnetism. Also, their actions are often based upon intuitive promptings. And a lot of times they may not even be conscious of it. So their intuition could send them down a certain corner and they end up being at the right place at the right time. Also, Mars in Aquarius can produce an enlightened being or someone who is in pursuit of enlightenment. Keyword pursuit, because we're talking about Mars. Also, of course, this person could be unique. They could be privileged in some type of way. Even some of them where they don't have to work. They might be a trust fund baby, or they might just have it somewhere. They might be caring for their grandmother and getting the Social Security check or whatever like that. So being privileged in some type of way, ease in making friends and connections. Also, this is the I got the hookup Mars. Again, because the person usually can make connections, can form connections easy with people. This is a person that can be quite progressive, not, stuck in the past, not set in their ways. They're very progressive. They're about looking ahead. Good for being a team leader or a group leader. It's good for creating your own group or society or organization. It's good for starting a movement or being part of one. Catches on quickly to abstract concepts and new technologies. A lot of these people are tech savvy, direct access to the ether. So these people, again, they have supernatural powers. Not all of them, because not all of them realize that. But for instance, if you take an athlete that has Mars and Aquarius, a lot of times they're going to do some superhuman, out of this world type shit. They might surprise you with their skills, with their moves, with, the way they play the game. Now, also, Mars and Aquarius can have telekinetic and telepathic powers. Those are some of the superpowers that Mars and Aquarius bestows. And David Blaine is a perfect example. Let me pull up an old video of David Blaine, because he has Mars and Aquarius, and he was a street magician. I don't know if he's still hold on. I don't know if he still does it, because I haven't seen him in years. But I used to have a serious crush on some David Blaine. Some of y'all know who I'm talking about. He used to be out on the street. He would even be going to the hood and stuff, and he would be doing these magic tricks. And these tricks would be out of this world. And looking into his eyes, I knew he was working with some next shit. Like he was working with some otherworldly power. Now, let me just share my screen and pull up a video of his real quick. This shit is probably copywritten. Maybe I'll speed it up.
You use the 7 of spades, right? Hold that like that. Take a match. You're thinking of a card, right? Hold this one. Hold the match under the card. Watch this. Watch what happens. Ready? Good. Good. Drop the match. Drop the match. Hold your hand up for it. Name your card. Say it out loud. 9 of spades. 9 of spades. See that? You held the match. He just said 9 of spades. Turn to the 7. Turn it. Now hold on. Listen to this. No, hold on. You're wondering where that went. Where the 7 of spades went, right? You got the 7 of spades. Watch this. You're holding the 7 of spades.
It's in your pocket.
You're holding the 7 of spades. Open up the matches.
Right here. You got the 7 of spades in your match. Right here.
Open. Let me see it.
Let's go.
Here's what I want you to do. Put your signature on it. You all see that? All right, now look, here's what I do. You know on the bill, right? See how there's a number 2? See how there's a number 2? See the 2 is a B, right? See you signed it. See the B? Hold it just like this. Hold it just like that. Hold it right there. Hold it. Hold the bill right there tight. Look, if I take the B, see the B? Look, right there. You don't want to miss it. See the letter B? If I just rub it, see the ink? See if I just slide it? See, look. How you doing? I'm trying to do some magic around here. Write your name on it.
All right, so that's David Blaine. I don't know what happened to him. But yeah, I used to have a serious crush on him, especially because, again, he has skills. And a dude that is good looking with some skills, oh my God, I'm all over him. But anyway, he has Mars in Aquarius. And like I said, some people with Mars in Aquarius, they could do some superhuman things. They could do some freaky things. They can be amazing, and they could do some out of this world things. I feel like there's not enough people with Mars in Aquarius that understand the power that they're working with. They're working with, again, direct access to the ether. They're working with direct contact with that electromagnetic energy. And that's how they can engage in telekinesis and telepathy quite easily, especially if they got a 3rd house Mars in Aquarius or a 1st house Mars in Aquarius. Oh, yeah. They're going to be a beast with that, like, magician stuff. Now, he's not the only magician that has Mars in Aquarius. So I drew the connection years ago about how that Mars in Aquarius can produce a good magician. And again, it's because, yeah, a lot of what they do is sleight of hand, and it's like, illusions. But some of what they do is actually on some telekinetic or telepathic level too. That's why people be accusing them of working with dark spirits and stuff. And I think some of them actually do. And that helps them, because Mars in Aquarius is also a channeler. You know how you could channel beings or you could channel energy? It's a channeler. Mars in Aquarius is a conduit. It's like a conductor of energy, a conductor of electricity. So, that basically gets beamed down into them, and they could do some amazing things, like I said. So Mars in Aquarius can engage in Jedi mind tricks. So that's another superpower that they have. Now, Jedi mind tricks, that's a term that comes from the Star Wars franchise. So basically, it's a mental feat achieved as if by magic. So what you saw David Blaine doing, that's an example of Jedi mind tricks as well. So the official definition of Jedi mind tricks, according to the Star Wars website, is the Force can have a powerful effect on the weak-minded, a phenomenon Jedi sometimes take advantage of in pursuing their missions. An experienced Jedi can use the Force to implant a suggestion in the minds of those they encounter, encouraging them to comply with the Jedi's wishes. So again, with Mars in Aquarius, can engage in telepathy and telekinesis. On the telepathy level, that's like you're sending messages back and forth between people without having to verbalize it, without having to talk. So that's very telepathic if you could put thoughts into someone's head. If you could get them to agree to something before you verbalize it or without even asking them. You might even do some hand gestures and stuff. There's this also term called neuralistic programming that goes hand in hand with what I'm talking about as well, where people will use certain movements and certain gestures to get people to be more in agreement with what they're saying. It's kind of sinister in a way. It's kind of like mind programming in a way. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you had people with Mars and Aquarius being into that whole neuralistic programming shit and all that. You got a lot of Mars and Aquarius people that are just into metaphysics, period. You got a lot of avid studiers I say studiers, students of astrology that have Mars in Aquarius. You'll have some astrologers that have Mars in Aquarius, because these are people that are seeking to find what's beyond, and they're seeking answers to life's questions, especially in terms of this whole as above, so below type of motif. So Mars in Aquarius, I mean, it ain't a Mars to take lightly. I will say that, both on the positive and the negative end. It's a lot of power at your disposal. Now, Mars in Aquarius is the inventor and the innovator, of course. It's the trendsetter, the rebel, the activist, the astrologer or metaphysician, like I said, the forecaster, the producer. Mars in Aquarius makes for a good music producer. Pharrell Williams has Mars in Aquarius. Who else has Mars in Aquarius that's a producer? When I get to the list, I'll mention it. Good sound engineer or mixer. Mars in Aquarius is the pilot, the scientist, the computer software engineer, the electrician, the human resource manager, the radiologist, the rocket scientist, the astronaut, the revolutionary, the liberator. Also, Mars in Aquarius can produce androgyny, or it can deal with like unisexual themes, even a unisexual name. Mars in Aquarius can make someone feel that they're non-binary, or that they're part of the LGBTQIA community, or that they're just very sexually liberated. Also, sexual experimentation is very Mars in Aquarius as well. Sexual technology, sex toys, dildos, vibrators, butt plugs, all that type of freak nasty shit. That's very Mars in Aquarius too. Check it. Somebody got Mars in Aquarius in their 8th house, they might got a butt plug up their ass right now, and they probably do. And it's one of the ones that vibrate. Because again, Mars in Aquarius can be a freak, sexually uninhibited, very sexually liberated, very sexually experimental. Yes. Now, some people with Mars in Aquarius could be asexual. They may not enjoy sex at all, or they may not have a strong desire for sex, may have a low sex drive, or their sex drive could be erratic. It could go up and down. So yeah. Now, ladies, if you're with a guy and he got Mars in Aquarius and he's saying he's straight, I would still do a booty hole check just to be on the safe side. If you're not down with getting with a dude that's bisexual, I'm just saying. I think every man with Mars in Aquarius needs a booty hole check. Just to be on the safe side. Just so you know who you're really dealing with. Or you might just, throw little questions at him. Or, put a gay TV program on and see how he reacts. If he get all upset and jump up and be all like, what the fuck is this shit? And he I hate them. He might be if he got Mars in Aquarius. But yep. Ramirez said, give it a sniff and go. Yep. Or get one of those French ticklers, one of them feathers. And, when he laying down naked, got his butt towards you, just, put that French tickler between them cheeks and see what he does. If he starts to push that booty out, you already know what time it is. If he says, yo, get the fuck off me, then you can pretty say, okay, he ain't down for that. But yeah, all it takes is that feather. Just try the feather and slide it up and down his butt crack. If he starts to wiggle that booty and stick it out, you already know what time it is. We talking about Mars in Aquarius. Anything can go down. Doodle Brown. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, doom, doom. Doodle Brown. All right. Now, since we got the bright side, and that was the bright side. Since we got the bright side out of the way, let's talk about the dark side, and then we'll get into some Mars and Aquarius celebrities. All right. On the dark side, Mars and Aquarius, while it's easy for Mars and Aquarius to make friends, conflicts, fights amongst friends could occur from time to time. Also, this could be a person that identifies too much with a group. They could be riotous. They could be a rebel rouser, an instigator. I mean, these are the instigators of the zodiac. They may use friends to define themselves, not knowing who they really are without their friends. Having that sense of entitlement, of course, that just comes with Aquarius, period. Being too progressive, like you don't have no type of traditional value system, nothing. It's just all about do what thou wilt on some Aleister Crowley shit. Being perverse, being a pervert, or attracting perverts in your life. That's a big one. When you got Mars and Aquarius, you always got to check under the sheets. Being offensive, being disrespectful, being a bully, a tyrant, a dictator, lacking self-awareness or a solid sense of self, can be phony. And with some of these celebrities, you'll see what I mean when I start to use some of these celebrities as examples. Now, women can attract men on the down low, as I mentioned. These are the booty hole check Mars men. Can attract perverts, weirdos, phonies. The social justice warrior type of person can be Mars and Aquarius. Also, this could be depersonalization. So with that, the person can basically become anybody, which can be quite scary. Objectification. They might objectify others, or they may be objectified at some point. Behaving in a very cold and detached way, lacking empathy, being sociopathic, being disloyal, or only being loyal to a cause, being unreliable, being unsettled, being unpredictable, shocking and offensive behavior, nudity at inappropriate times, being shameless. Now, this ain't too bad, but some people with Mars and Aquarius could be a tech snob. Like, for instance, if they got Mars and Aquarius in the third house, oh boy, more than likely they're going to have an iPhone and not an Android. And they'll probably make fun of people that have Androids. Or if they got Mars and Aquarius conjoined to Mercury, more than likely they got an iPhone, they got an iMac, and they're going to make fun of people that got Microsoft, and they're going to make fun of people that got the Androids. But that's okay, because I'm Android all day. Ultra left-wing liberal nutcase. So some people with Mars and Aquarius, they take it way too far, and they become this ultra left-wing liberal nutcase Karen type of person. Also, the anarchists, that's Mars and Aquarius, the socialists, the communists, the dissenter or disruptor. Also, Mars and Aquarius does put one at risk for injuries to the ankles, shins, and calves. They could also develop problems with the circulatory system, which could lead to heart problems. And then they can also suffer from a nervous disposition. There's a chance of developing neurological problems, like problems with the brain and the circuitry of the brain. Hair could be abnormal or different. Again, Jada Pinkett's perfect example. Could change hair color a lot. Could go bleach blonde. That bleach blonde spiky hairdo, that's that Mars and Aquarius all day. And some people with Mars and Aquarius, they might get electrolysis or laser hair removal at some point. So yeah, that's Mars and Aquarius in a nutshell. Anybody got Mars and Aquarius up in here? Angela. So you said my Mars and Aquarius. Oh, your mom. Your Mars and Aquarius mom got a tattoo on her vajayjay. So I know she into some wild stuff. And don't ask me how I know that. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's on some freak nasty Mars and Aquarius shit. She open up her leg to her man. She'd be like, what's that say? What's that say right here? And he like, queen. And she was like, yeah, I thought so. Oh, you got Mars and Aquarius in your iPhone nation? Yup, told you. Oh, no, you said your mom got Mars and Aquarius. Crystal said Mars and Aquarius sound mean as fuck. Some of them can be. Siobhan said, I've worn every hair color on the planet. Yep, that's that Mars and Aquarius. Mm-hmm. Self-made said, I knew someone with Mars conjunct Chiron and Aquarius. All right, let me bring up Jada Pinkett again because we're going to get into her first because she got Mars in Aquarius, which explains a lot. It explains a lot about her and explains a lot about Will because Mars in Aquarius can also deal with the type of man she attracts. Now, I'm going to go down my list again and point out the words that represent Will Smith in relation to Jada Pinkett's Mars and Aquarius. But before I do that, let me just talk about some insight I've gained over the past few days because I've been reading ahead of that book, Will Smith's autobiography. I mean, honestly, at this point, I just want to get it over with. It's kind of like torturous at this point. It's kind of painful to have to continue to read about Will Smith's self-aggrandizement and how he keeps on just big upping himself and he keeps on calling himself the biggest movie star in the world. It's really like annoying at this point. So getting through the rest of this book, especially now that I understand Will Smith's intent upon writing this book, is rather grueling. So I'm going to need y'all support as I go through the rest of the chapters. I'll be reading another chapter in a few days. But yeah, he had so many details about being on the set of some of these movies. Nobody wants to know about that stuff. Or I'll say most people don't care about that shit. And he's leaving out all the pertinent details about stuff. But he does reveal some things. And some of what he's revealed has made me really look at Jada Pinkett in another light. I will say that I feel like Jada is being unfairly judged at this point. I didn't feel that way before. But after reading some of these, some of what Will Smith is saying about her and about how things went down, I'm actually starting to feel sorry for Jada to a certain extent. Don't get me wrong. I think Jada is a narcissist and I think Will is a narcissist, but I think Will is an even bigger narcissist. Jada, on the other hand, I feel like she got a raw deal. And I don't know if I should discuss this now. Yeah, I should since I'm going to get into her chart. But Will had said something in his book and it really made me think. And then when I looked at Jada's chart, I was like, there it is. That's the reason for all of this. And now it's like Jada feels trapped. She feels stuck. And I think Will Smith is crazier than we think he is. And a lot of people are looking at Will Smith as the victim in this marriage. I don't see him as being the victim at all. And if Jada is being mean towards Will, it's for a good reason. It's for all of his antics over the years. She's tired of dealing with this fool. And that's why, I don't know if y'all saw that clip. I should play it. Let me see if I can find it. There's this clip of her, Jada Pinkett. Yeah. Will Smith. I hope I could find it. Okay, yeah, this is it. So the title of this video is New Video Resurface of Jada Humiliating Will Smith. Again, a lot of people are really blaming Jada for everything that's happened. They're blaming Jada for Will's current mental state, making it seem like she's this monster and he's at her mercy. But again, I don't see it like that at all. Honestly, I think these two people, they don't love each other on that romantic, couple level. They love each other in terms of family. They love each other in terms of the years that they've been together. But I don't think that there's ever been true love between either of them. I don't think Will really loves Jada like that. And I don't think Jada really loves Will like that. But Will has been very selfish throughout this whole marriage. But because he's a Libra, a low down, dirty, shame Libra, he can mask very well. He can make it seem like he's always doing things for his wife. He's always doing things for his family. He's always doing things for other people. But really, along this whole way, from what it seems in their marriage, Will has been calling the shots. Jada keeps him in line. I will say that. Jada helps him from going off on the deep end. And if she were to ever leave him, I believe he would go off on the deep end. But with Jada having that Mars in Aquarius, she's strong. But that's also representing Will. And when you have Mars in Aquarius, you could attract a man that's a dictator. You could attract a man that is very willful and where it's his way or the highway. And that's how it appears that things have been throughout this marriage. Now, let me pull up her chart and we're going to get into some things dealing with Jada's life. And again, reading some of that shit from Will's book, I started to feel sorry for Jada, especially when you understand how Virgos operate. And I know I'm hard on Virgos. I know I be talking shit about Virgo a lot. But I do have a soft spot for Virgo in the sense that a lot of them do go through some suffering. A lot of them do, are subjugated in terms of their power. A lot of them have to assume these submissive positions, and they do it because they feel like it's their duty. Now, I'm going to speak about what's in Will Smith's book. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but I'm still going to be reading these chapters. Now, some of y'all might already know this fact about their marriage, but for those that don't know, Will Smith basically wanted the whole traditional marriage and all that. Jada has been non-traditional. She's always been non-traditional. She didn't want a traditional marriage. She really didn't want to get legally married at all. She felt like, why should the government be involved in a marriage? And that's very Mars and Aquarius of her. To be, very liberated, to be free-spirited, to be very much that person that walks to the beat of their own drum, that's not confined in any way. Now, Will Smith, again, he wanted a traditional marriage. He wanted a traditional wedding. She just wanted some simple ceremony. She didn't even want a priest there or a pastor to marry them or anything like that. She just wanted it to be her and Will. Well, Will says that one day he gets a phone call from Jada Pinkett's mother. And Jada Pinkett's mother is begging Will, pleading with him to have a traditional marriage, to convince Jada to go along with a traditional marriage and for them to get traditionally married, legally, and have a big wedding and all that. Well, they were able to wear Jada down to the point where Jada agreed. Once her mother, was saying, Will really wants this and I want you. And she was even saying, Jada's my only child. I need to see my child get married and all this type of stuff. Now, if you look at Jada's Mercury, it's in the 9th house, it's conjoined to her moon. That could deal with a very close relationship with her mother, even though her mother didn't grow up. She didn't grow up with her mother. I believe she was raised by her grandmother. Was her mother on drugs and running the streets? Because Will says that Jada didn't grow up with both of her parents. But somewhere along the way, Jada reunited with her mother and they became very close. That's why you see her mother on the Red Table Talk. And that's very much Mercury conjoined to the moon. That means that Jada's mother can very much influence Jada's mind. And with Jada's Mercury ruling her 7th house and conjoined to her moon in Virgo, so mom was on drugs, heroin. Thank you for confirming that. So with Jada's Mercury ruling her 7th house and being conjoined to her moon in Virgo, I believe Jada got married for her mother. And in the book, Will even says that Jada Pinkett refused to even involve herself in the wedding, the planning of the wedding. She said her mom was going to plan everything. She wanted her mom to plan everything. And Jada said she was going to show up. And she even, hey, Tara, and she even called it her mom's wedding instead of her own wedding. And this is where I have a soft spot for Virgo, because Virgo has a strong need to help and to serve. And Virgo could be that dutiful child, even if the parent wasn't in their life. And Virgo needs that soft place to fall. They need at least one parent in their life. So I believe Jada got married to Will to ensure that they will all have a better life, but especially her mother. This was purely a financial situation on Jada's part. But then, of course, once Jada starts getting pregnant and has those 2 kids, now this shit is real. Now she's basically stuck in it. And one thing about Virgo could be in an undesirable situation, such as an undesirable marriage, and suffer through it. I always say Virgo ain't happy unless they have something to complain about. So Virgo is likely to put up with an undesirable situation and just adjust, especially because they're a mutable sign, then actually extricate themselves out of it. And also it's about, what she's become accustomed to over the years. Will bought that big ass mansion. She didn't want to move into a big ass mansion. She really tried to, convince him to get a smaller house. First of all, that's a sign of Will's extreme selfishness right there. When you're buying a house and you're married, that's supposed to be a joint decision. It ain't supposed to be just what one person wants. So the fact that Will bought this big ass mansion that was on over 240 acres of land, and Jada didn't want to be in a big house like that, he buys it anyway, even though she wasn't in an agreement. But Will acts like he's this perfect husband and he's done everything right and all this stuff. And he's done other stuff too that has just shown his selfishness. Now, where Jada has Will by the balls is that she knows Will's secrets, because a lot of us have speculated that Will is bisexual, that Will has had gay relationships. So she knows his secrets, and basically I feel like she also knows that Will would collapse. Because again, that's that Virgo thing. They feel like they got to help out their partner. I feel like she knows Will would collapse and have a total nervous breakdown if she was to leave him. So his abandonment issues helps her to stay. She got some abandonment issues as well. And again, she's just become very accustomed to this lifestyle. Now, where that Mars and Aquarius comes back in, though, she's still liberated. So that's how she can have her, little love affair with August Alsina or whoever she wants to have it while in this marriage. I feel like after a while, that was the deal. Like Will Smith admitted, like he basically agreed to an open marriage because he understands that this was an arranged marriage. Basically, this was an arranged marriage, which is very indicative of Venus in the 11th. No, that's the 10th house, but it's Libra. Yeah. Libra on the 11th with Venus in Libra in the 10th. That's more so of an arranged marriage, like business agreement. She got Saturn in the 7th. That's more so like a business agreement. I would even think that she had to sign a non-disclosure agreement or something. I wouldn't be surprised. Because again, Will is very strategic and he plans everything out. He orchestrates everything. It's not like he be just doing things in an organic, natural type of way. He just doesn't. And that's very much Mars and Aquarius too, where everything he's doing is for some type of goal, or he's working towards the future, or he's just doing things in a very automated or robotic type of way. Like once he knows what the perfect formula is, basically, you could say that. So he's not the type, represented by that Jada's Mars and Aquarius, that's going to do things from an emotional standpoint. Because remember I said Mars and Aquarius can produce somebody that's cold and detached. And with Jada having Mars and Aquarius, that could be her man Will. Also keep in mind that Will has Sun conjunct Uranus. So that could cause him to be cold and detached at times and also come across as phony. And remember I said Mars and Aquarius can produce somebody that comes across as phony. Now, that Mars and Aquarius also comes in because Tupac had Mars and Aquarius. So him and Jada were like two peas in a pod, just solid friends, homies. But from what I heard, he was actually trying to get with Jada Pinkett's sister. I forget where I heard that, but that could be Gemini on the 7th too. Now, Tupac would be in Jada's 7th house. So that can explain too why they had this close relationship and why she was so heartbroken. And you know, it came out that Jada has one of the only poems that Tupac has written. That's her Saturn and Gemini in the 7th house. So that's pointing to that. But then remember, I don't know if y'all know this, but what's her face? Willow Smith wrote a letter to Tupac, deceased Tupac, basically telling him that my mom misses you so much and I wish that you could be my dad, or some crazy ass shit like that. But yeah. Now, Jada has Aries on the 5th. Now, the 5th house deals with children, and Mars is ruling that 5th house. And that explains why she was so liberal with raising her children. She allowed her children to basically raise themselves and be free to make their own decisions and basically wild the fuck out if they wanted to and stuff, and just be very independent from a young age. So that Mars and Aquarius conjoined to the North Node says it all. Oh, I also wanted to talk about all the 12s in her chart. So, and she got the infamous Yod in her chart. I'm sorry that I'm skipping around. But she got the infamous Yod in her chart, and that Yod can produce love triangles. So the Yod is existing between her Chiron in Aries, forming a quincunx with her Mercury in the moon. Mercury in the moon forming a quincunx with Mars and North Node in Aquarius. That's the Yod. That's the love triangle between her, Will, and August Alsina. But it's also dealing with other love triangles such as Jada, Will, and Dwayne Martin, or other guys that he's been with. So Yods can also produce situations like the slap, like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Chris Rock is an Aquarius, and you see she got that Aquarius. So that Yod could be representing that slap as well. And then again, she got strong 12 energy in her chart. 12 is sacrifice victim. She got Mars and the North Node 12th degree, South Node 12th degree, Chiron 12th degree, Uranus 12th degree. That 12th degree is sacrifice victim. When I saw that, I was that's another thing that softened me up towards Jada. Because I was like, again, that represents what I believe, that this was a sacrifice that she was making on behalf of her mother and maybe her whole family. This was a way for them to come up. She did grow up, not having much, growing up in Baltimore and all that stuff. And again, Virgos can be very dutiful and they'll suffer through things just to help out people. So I really believe, again, Jada got married for the sake of helping her mom and other members of her family. And basically, she stayed married because, she grew accustomed to that lifestyle. She had kids and she basically was like, I'm stuck. She does have Jupiter and Neptune and Sagittarius in the 12th house. And it's opposing Saturn and Gemini. That's her holding no secrets against Will. So y'all might think what I'm about to say is pretty outlandish and far-fetched. But after really studying Will Smith's chart and seeing that he has that Moon-Neptune conjunction in Scorpio and is forming a quincunx with Saturn and Aries in the 12th house, I wouldn't be surprised if Will has threatened Jada before. Like when she threatened to leave him, he probably said, come on, Jada, I got enough money that I can make you disappear. And I think if she threatened to leave him, her life could be in danger. I believe Will Smith is that much of a narcissist. I believe he's that crazy that he would get somebody to put a hit out on Jada if she threatened to leave him, because number one, he got severe abandonment issues, and number two, he's afraid of her spilling his secrets. She would end up like Kim Porter. It'd be like Diddy did Kim Porter. And what's the common denominator? They both got Scorpio energy. P. Diddy is a Scorpio sun. Will is a Scorpio moon. Don't put it past these people. Trust and believe. Will Smith He's so concerned about his reputation, and he's such a narcissist that I wouldn't be surprised. And he's so delusional where he believes that he created this perfect family, even though now things are unraveling and people see this shit for what it is. And we saw it back with the whole August Alsina shit. Even if they're talking about open marriage, why did they have to be at the red table talk hashing it out with each other if this was supposed to be this open marriage and all that stuff? But that's neither here nor there. But I wouldn't put it past Will to try to do some shit like that. Next thing you know, Jada end up in a car accident. And with that Saturn and Gemini opposing her ascendant, she could get into a car accident where it's somebody else's fault. She got the 12th degree of Aquarius on the third house cusp with Mars and the North Node being on that third house cusp. That could be where somebody is set up to hit her. So she probably knows it. Will definitely knows it. That's why they're like bad marriage for life. They probably made a death pact in blood. Because I could see Will demanding some shit like that. Like they made a pact in blood that they would never leave each other because there's too much at stake. But yeah, I wouldn't put it past Will. And again, with that Mars conjoined to that North Node in Aquarius, that's also dealing with that half sacrifice of his mother. But yeah, I'll be reading about that a little bit later when I get into that other chapter. But yeah, so Jada having Saturn in the 7th, that could deal with having a partner that's very controlling. So like I said, don't think that Will is a victim in this. Now, Jada may be a bitch. She is a Virgo. And some Virgo women can be bitches, like can be very uptight about stuff and very particular and got a complaint about everything. But I think Will is the bigger bitch. And Jada just puts up with it. Again, Will got all this money. You know, Jada, she did pretty well with her career, but not nearly as well as Will did. Jada's money would have been spent up already, especially having that mom that she has. Mom would have ran through Jada's money. Mom probably was running through Jada's money before Jada got with Will. And that's why Jada's mom kept on pressuring her to marry Will. Trust and believe, Jada did not want to marry Will. When she first got pregnant with Jaden, their first child, she was crying her eyes out. She didn't even want to get pregnant by Will. And that's in the book where Will is saying she was crying. There's another part in the book where he's saying she was crying for 45 days straight. You know he likes to count. It was like 45 or 47 days straight. Because she realized she done sacrificed her whole life. And she's not really living through that Mars and Aquarius, North Node and Aquarius like she really wants to, unless she gets with August Alsina or somebody else. Some other boyfriend. That's how she liberates herself while she's in this marriage. That's why she was like, I just needed to feel good. Because honestly, Will doesn't make her feel good. Will's always humiliating her and shit. And again, this really made me look at Jada in a new light. I feel kind of sorry for her. And now people are like, you know, really condemning her and acting like she's this evil bitch and all this stuff. And I bet you she just sitting back saying, if they only knew what the fuck I had to put up with this clown with these big ass fucking Dumbo ears. Will Smith is a malignant narcissist, I believe. And that book says it all. And those malignant narcissists, they're the worst. And a malignant narcissist could very well kill their partner if the partner is threatening to leave, or if they feel like the partner cheated on them or betrayed them or some type of shit. All I'm saying is Jada better have a serious escape plan if she were to leave him. And that Saturn and Gemini opposition, Jupiter could join to Neptune and Sagittarius. That could be her escape plan right there. She probably tried to escape on a few occasions. And he probably put on that song by the Police. Every breath you take, every move you make, every smile you take, every night you take, I'll be watching you. He probably plays that song all the time. Boy, can't you see You belong to me. I'm telling you, Will is crazy like that. And he probably tells her, like, there's nowhere in the world you can go and I won't find you. I bet you he'd be throwing shit like that up in her face. And again, a lot of times she be grinning and bearing it because she got all that Virgo energy. Mercury could join to the moon. And again, she don't want to let her mom down. And that's what it's really about. Because it's like once she was able to have that relationship with her mother, that's really all that mattered. And she was willing to do whatever it takes to keep her mother in her life, which is real sad. She got cancer on the 8th. And that can deal with her supporting her mother. And also, looking out for her mother, like ride or die for her mother. And it can also represent sharing money with her mother as well. So again, I'm feeling kind of sorry for Jada to a certain extent. Now she got all this money, so I don't feel sorry for her too much. But I do feel sorry just knowing how Virgo again can suffer through an undesirable situation simply because they feel like it is their duty to do so. And that's what she's doing in terms of her mom. Now, her mother is represented by that 10th house, and I'm going to move on after saying this part. But her mother is represented by that 10th house. And look how crowded that 10th house is. She got Sun conjunct Pluto. That's like her feeling forced to marry a man to help out her mom. Like it's as literal as that when you see that Sun Pluto conjunction in Virgo in the 10th house. 10th house, that's the mom. She also has Venus in Libra. She got Uranus in Libra in the 10th house. Again, that could deal with where she agrees to marry this person because she's trying to help out her mom and she's trying to help out her family. And again, this is why you see her mom on the red table talk, because it ain't about Will. It's about her and her mom and her family. But like I said, she has to be like that because Will is hella selfish. She don't have no choice. She got to look out for her and hers. She can't be she can't be in a balanced marriage simply because of who she's married to. She's married to a very unbalanced, unsettling personality. And if she's not careful with all those 12s in her chart, she could end up being a victim. Remember, I said the 12th degree is sacrifice victim. She's already a victim of her circumstances by marrying an egomaniac like Will Smith. But like I said, if she was to try to leave him, she might end up disappearing. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, moving on. Now, we're going to have some people with Mars and Aquarius. Some of these Mars and Aquarius people are going to fall into the pervert category. So we might as well get them out the way first. And Will Smith might be perverted. Now, before I close out with Jada, with that Mars and Aquarius, that can be Will being bisexual again. So remember what I said, Mars and Aquarius, they could have some connection or they could be of the LGBTQ community, and that can represent Will with that Mars and Jada's chart. And yeah, that just confirmed to me, that's saying this is a long-term friend that Will has, and that could be Dwayne Martin. And Jada just puts up with it. I mean, she probably was tired of having sex with him anyway, so she don't mind. She probably, with that Saturn and Gemini in the 7th house too, that's like basically pointing to how much he talks. Like he's real talkative, but sometimes it can also mean that he'll give her the silent treatment. And with Saturn squaring Mercury, he can basically belittle what she says, or he might try to shut down her ideas, shut down her plans. And there's instances in the book that points to that as well. So it's like everything for Will Smith's career, nothing for her. She even said in the book, he wrote that she said one time, she was like, none of this is mine. She was like, this isn't my life. It's all about you, basically. And that's how it's been throughout their whole marriage. So again, I'm not saying Jada is a total victim in this, but I will say that she could be victimized at some point. And I'll just say she's a victim in terms of not being able to live that liberated life like she really wanted to live. And again, she did it for the sake of her mother. And she got that Mars quincunx moon in Virgo, which could deal with, there's some strange relationship with her mother that could involve a man. And it could be more so of an arrangement because we're talking about Aquarius. So that could deal with something that's not of the heart, it's more of the mind. All right. Next we have, so we're going to get the perverts out the way because Mars and Aquarius can produce a pervert. So look who we have here. We recently was talking about him. Stevie J. Stevie J got Mars and Aquarius, and remember his latest fiasco where he was getting head from a person. I'm going to say person because those hands was big as hell. So I wouldn't be surprised if the person was trans that he was getting head from. But he was getting head while he was being interviewed by this woman. And I can't believe that the woman kept on interviewing him when she could clearly see that he was getting a happy ending. And then somebody even said that the person had their finger up his ass too or something like that. Let me plug in my laptop. It's acting stupid. But Stevie J is definitely a freak. And I believe Jocelyn, his so-called baby mama, is trans too. So you can have some people with Mars in Aquarius, like I said, they could be anything, like part of the LGBT community. They could be non-binary, they could be into trans, they could be pansexual. Basically somebody that's very liberated sexually. So he may not differentiate between gender, between sex when it comes time to get his jollies. So he got the freak nasty squares in his chart. I call the squares between Aquarius and Scorpio the freak nasty squares because that's the epitome of sexual perversion. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's into some other shit that we never even thought about. And he's probably, had plenty of group sex and all that. And with that, though, that could cause him to want to just have sexual relationships, but then he gets caught up with the emotions and all that type of stuff. So, oh yeah, don't see. You said that Mars and Aquarius smirk. Stevie J, he does have that smirk. But yeah, wasn't that disrespectful? And I did say Mars and Aquarius can be disrespectful. So here's another one that's a pervert. I swear it's not. All right, where he at? We talked about him not too long ago too. Trey Songz, another one with Mars and Aquarius that got some perverted tendencies, right? And didn't he have like a couple of rape charges? Mars and Aquarius can have that sense of entitlement, and some of them can even get turned on by the woman saying no because they think it already belonged to them anyway. So they like, oh, you could say no, you what? I'm gonna still take it. Not saying that Mars and Aquarius automatically equates to rape, but I'm saying when you put the entitlement theme in there. So he has the freak nasty squares because he got, what is that? His moon in Aquarius squaring Saturn and the South Node. He got Mars in Aquarius squaring Pluto in Scorpio. So he got those freak nasty aspects too. So sexual perversion. And like I told y'all before, if somebody's willing to do certain things out in the open, you really got to wonder about what they're really into behind closed doors. So Trey Songz is a perfect example of the pervy type of Mars and Aquarius person. All right. Here's another one. Let me just pull up a picture of him. Just give me a second. Give me a reason to want you back. Do you know? Tell me how to forgive and forget. All right, hold on, y'all. Give me the reason to want you back. Wasn't Luther Vandross an Aries? I gotta talk about him and his sassy ass when I do my Aries live stream. He was a diva. You want to talk about diva? There's so many stories about him just being a big old diva, being mean to En Vogue and all that type of shit. All right, who's that, y'all? Hey, Kaylin, how you doing, girl? A chair is still a chair, even when no one is sitting there. But a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home when there's one of us. All right. I don't even got the lyrics right. Okay. Yes, that's Hugh Hefner. Yes, exactly, Diana. Hugh Hefner, it came out that this fool was humping on dogs. Humping on dogs. He got on that dog and he was like, all I want to do is zoom, 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 zoom in the poom poom. In the poom poom poodle. The poodle's poom poom. Just shake your rump type shit, but with the wrong type of creature. Yes. One of the Playboy Playmates said she walked in on him one time and he was getting it on with the dog. Yes, he was. So, Hugh Hefner. And again, remember what I told y'all. If somebody's going to do things out in the open that could be questionable sexually, or that they're just a hypersexual person out in the open, you got to think about what they're really into behind closed doors. He was very much bisexual as well, which is very indicative of Mars and Aquarius. Yes, Amira. All I want to do is zoom, 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 zoom in the poom poom. Just shake your rump. Remember that song? All I want to do is zoom, 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 zoom in the poom poom. Just shake your rump. But yeah, animal abuse. And again, remember I said Mars and Aquarius can objectify things, can be cold and detached, and be a pervert. So yeah, I heard he was quite mean too. I heard he kept a nasty house, and he was always playing gay porn, and he was making the playmates watch it and stuff like that. So don't look at this man as a role model. He has been put on a pedestal. At least now he's been knocked off. But before, it was like this man could do no wrong. He was the founder of Playboy magazine and he was the Mac of the year and all that type of stuff. Best friends with Bill Cosby. Hello. You know, birds of a feather flock together. I believe one of the Playboy Playmates ended up dead after she spent the night with Bill Cosby one time. This was like in the 70s or the late 60s. But yeah, makes you really wonder. So he's one of them. Let me pull up another one. Shake it now, shake it now, shake it now, shake it. She could spend every birthday butt naked. All I want to do is zoom, 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 and a poom, poom. Just shake your rump. I'll be your freakazoid. Come on and wind me up. Oh, dance, baby. Oh, I wanted to look at Hugh Hefner's chart real quick and see if I see anything dealing with, you know, that type of bestiality type crap. All right, let me see. Where's he at? All right, he got Venus in Pisces, Moon in Pisces in the 6th house. Now, that alone doesn't necessarily mean messing around with some type of canine, but he does have Virgo rising. Most of his Virgo energy is in the 12th, but he doesn't have any planets in Virgo. But he does have Mercury and Aries conjoined to Uranus and Pisces. And it's opposing his Virgo ascendant. Just having that Uranus and Pisces opposing his Virgo ascendant, that could be part of it. And then when you take into account him having Mercury and Aries, That's like him doing something shocking involving an animal, you could say, a pet. Now, here's the next example of a pervert. A lot of y'all probably don't know who she is because she's from the old school. But anybody want to take a guess, or anybody know who that is? I'll give y'all a minute. Somebody said Virgos are freaks too, and 6 is little animals. Yup. Mm-hmm. No, that's not Barbara. Who's Barbara? Mardi Gras said Holly been trying to expose Hef for years, but was afraid to do so in fear of being a mark. I don't. Yeah, he probably, put a head out on some of those women. Oh, I think you're talking about Karen Carpenter. That's not Karen, but it looks like her. She looked kind of like Karen Carpenter. Asha said Barbara Streisand. No, that's not her. Do y'all remember the woman's name? The first woman that did Major Motion? Yes, Annie got it. Boom. Linda Lovelace. So guess what? She is connected to Hugh Hefner because it came out that one time there was a party at the Playboy Mansion and she showed up shit-faced drunk and high on all types of drugs and barbiturates and quaaludes and shit, and they made her have sex with a dog. So yeah, she fits the pervert list. And she was in Deep Throat. She was in that first major motion picture porn movie. Even the premise of that porn movie was perverted because it was about a woman that had a clitoris in her throat, and the only way that she could orgasm was if she was deep throating dudes and they was hitting that spot in her throat. That alone is very perverted. Like, that's your first porn, doing some crazy shameless stuff like that. And I told you Mars and Aquarius could be shameless. I mean, it's bad enough that you're in porn, but then when you tell your parents that you made a porno movie and that you on the big screen, and they be like, "Oh, what's it about?" "Oh, basically I got a clitoris in my throat." Like, what kind of bullshit is that? It is so outlandish and weird, and that's so Mars and Aquarius. So I want to look at her chart and just see how scuzzy this chick really was. Just 1 second. She was the type that would do anything. Oh, especially because her South Node is at the 0 degree of Scorpio. She was freak nasty, and she got the freak nasty squares in her chart. She got Mercury in Aquarius conjoined to Mars in Aquarius, squaring the Scorpio South Node. I'm telling you, those squares can produce some straight up freak nasty people. I mean, it's the epitome of sexual perversion. Now that Mercury could join to Mars, that can deal with her having sex with an animal, a pet. And then let me see, she got Saturn in Virgo, squaring Chiron and Sagittarius. That could deal with her doing something where she goes too far, maybe with involving an animal, and there's some wound that takes place, some wounding, whether it's her or the animal. She also got Mars, quincunx, Saturn, and Virgo. That's her trying to get in the right position. Because, I mean, I know what I'm about to say might sound real like, TMI. But I'm going to just tell you how this quincunx aspect can play out. So her Mars is in Aquarius, forming a quincunx to Saturn and Virgo. Virgo represents pets, including dogs. Remember, I told you at the Playboy Mansion, they made her have sex with a dog. And then that wasn't the first time, though, because she had a perverted boyfriend. That's Mars in Aquarius. She had a perverted boyfriend that would make her have sex with dogs sometimes, and he would videotape it. So with her Mars, you're saying, what's her sign? She's a Capricorn. And some of them can go real, like, low down, dirty with it. Some of them dark-sided Capricorns, I mentioned her in my dark-sided Capricorn video. But she got Mars in Aquarius. I just want y'all to visualize this now. She got Mars in Aquarius, quincunx, Saturn, and Virgo. That quincunx is representing the maneuvering that she had to get into, that she had to do to be able to have sex with this dog. because I don't think, it happens easy like it does with humans. First of all, you got to get the dog to stay still or whatever. I don't even want to visualize it, but you know what I mean. Because the quincunx could deal with where you got to make this adjustment, you got to make some maneuvering, you got to like work your body or position yourself a certain way, or you know what I mean. And that can also mean that her man had her in very submissive positions at times, and he was probably beating her and all types of stuff. There is a movie about her. I forget what it's called, but it's about the Linda Lovelace story. And in the movie, it shows how abusive her boyfriend was towards her. And it was her boyfriend that convinced her to start doing porn. Caleb, you said Michelle Obama. I don't know if I got her chart in my files. I don't know if I feel like pulling it, but yes, she got Mars in Aquarius. And Michelle, she was rumored to be Michael, not Michelle. And there was this clip, speaking of Michelle Obama, Caleb, there's this clip of Obama out there where he's giving this speech and he makes a mistake, and instead of saying Michelle and I, he says Michael and I. Let me see if I can find this clip. Me personally, I wouldn't be surprised if Michelle Obama was Michael, because I'll never forget Joan Rivers. She died shortly after saying that Michelle Obama was transgender. Wait a minute. This probably, I think they scrubbed it off of YouTube because I don't even see it. See, they're trying to hide it. I don't even see that clip anymore where he's like Michael and I instead of saying Michelle and I. And I was like, oh, and only some people caught that. Now, some people get really mad when you say that because they're like, she was the first black, first lady. But like I said, you can't trust none of these people that are given these high positions. A lot of times they are not who they say they are. A lot of times there's something else under the hood. A lot of times there's something else going on. Annie said Joan was taken out for telling the truth about Michael. Yes, exactly. Tara said exactly. When Joan died after saying that, spoke volumes. Yes. Cherry said Joan Rivers got off for calling her a tranny. Yup. And again, Mars and Aquarius can mean that you're part of the LGBT community. But you know what also that says about Michelle Obama? Remember, I said that her man, a woman's man, when she has Mars and Aquarius, a woman's man could be bisexual or he could be on the down low. So Barack Obama was rumored to have been gay. He was in the bathhouses in Chicago. And then there was this guy, what was that guy's name? Larry Sinclair, that came out and said that back in the 80s, he was smoking crack with Obama and he sucked Obama's dick. Basically, he was getting crack for Obama and he was slobbing his Johnson back in the day. And I believe it. And then next thing you know, Larry Sinclair mysteriously goes quiet. Hello. Then there was the gay boy in Obama's old church that ended up dead. Don't even get me started with this Mars and Aquarius. I mean, you mentioned it, Caleb. Now I'm going in on Michelle. Matter of fact, let me see if I have her chart in my files. Because Michelle got some shit with her. I never liked that crooked ass mouth she got. You know what I mean? She got that crooked mouth. And she kind of talk with a lisp. I won't be surprised if I don't have her chart. I don't feel like pulling it up. I got Barack, but I don't have Michelle. Let me see if I can pull her up real quick. Michelle Obama. Since you mentioned it, Caleb. I mean, she might be part of my perverted group. So she was born January 17th. That's right, she's a Capricorn. Birth time unknown. So January 17th, 1964. Let me just put that in real quick. Oh, remember she came out with that school lunch program and it was shameful, or should I say shameless? And remember, I said Mars and Aquarius, they could do some shameless shit. And that was very cold and detached, coming out with that, weak ass lunch program and shit. Giving kids like a half a brown apple and a shriveled up hot dog and calling that shit lunch. But that's Capricorn too. Capricorn could be cheap as hell. Damn near starve the school kids just to save some money. 17. 1964, she was born in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, a lot of crooked people come out of Chicago. I'm just saying. That's mobster land. And she got disbarred too. Disbarred, mean kicked off the bar association when she was a lawyer. I forget what she did, but I'm sure that'll show up in her chart, her being disbarred. Okay, so she got Sun conjunct Mars in Aquarius. So her Sun's in Capricorn, the late degrees conjoined to Mars in Aquarius, and that right there can deal with where her husband, who happens to have been the president, always got some dude on the side that be slinging him the penis. That could be as simple as that. But you know what else that can mean? That could mean that Michelle got this other identity, got this alter ego, and it is like it could be the man inside of her. Now, Michelle got Mercury conjoined to the South Node in Capricorn. That points to her involvement in government, but it might also point to some information that could get out at some point that she's trying to keep private, that could be publicized at some point. And we know it was publicized through who? Joan Rivers. So Mercury could join to the South Node in Capricorn. That's part of her karmic debt for that information to have come out. Oh, Crystal, some of it could apply to Aquarius rising, what I'm saying about Mars and Aquarius, but I'm speaking about Mars and Aquarius in particular, specifically. But yeah, so Mercury could join to the South Node in Capricorn. That's the publicizing of information. Somebody making some information about Michelle that she's trying to keep private, public, and that was Joan Rivers. Especially because Joan Rivers was really old at the time. That North Node in Cancer, that's privacy, but that's also showing woman. Like, yeah, she became a woman in this lifetime, but she's always battling with those male hormones, that male energy with that square to Jupiter, waking up with the 5 o'clock shadow and shit, still pissing when she stand up and, standing up, pissing and all that stuff and gotta always try to hide and all that. She also got Moon in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius. So strong Aquarius energy. Venus in Pisces. And that could deal with she basically is a beard for her husband because her husband is really gay. And I never thought those kids were hers or his. I think they just picked those kids up from, the Sahara Desert or somewhere in Ethiopia or some shit. Because those kids look like they came straight out of East Africa. Don't look like they belong to either one of them. Oh, thank you. Hi, Mike. So you said what aspects placements could give alter egos? So Mars contacts, so either by conjunction. If it's by conjunction, that can mean that they're very, at ease with it. And they can really exchange, like go between it. If it's a square, it can mean their alter ego conflicts with who they are or their image or whatever, or they're trying to come to terms with that. If it's an opposition involving Mars, it could be that the alter ego is projected onto others, and sometimes it could just spring forth, out of nowhere, you could say. Now, let me see. So that Venus in Pisces, that can deal with you got a spouse that got some secrets. Also, Venus in Pisces on Michelle's end can deal with all the costume and the makeup and stuff to try to come across as looking as feminine as possible. But she really has a easy to pass because Chiron and Pisces making that Neptune I mean, making a trine with Neptune and Scorpio. So she's one of those ones that can pass really easily. Also with Chiron and Pisces, trine North Node and Cancer. So yeah. And I would say she's very mean with that Mercury and Capricorn, conjoined to the Capricorn South Node. So I can imagine some of the shit she was saying to Barack. She probably belittle him all the time. All right. Now, back to the pervert list. So we already talked about Linda Lovelace. We talked about Hugh Hefner. We talked about Trey Songz. What about Drake? Does Drake have any perversions to him? Has anything come out about Drake that's perverted? Because he got Mars and Aquarius. Now, again, remember, Mars and Aquarius can produce somebody that's bisexual or trisexual or non-binary or whatever. And Drake has been rumored to be gay or bisexual. And looks like he could be the boyfriend of LeBron James, could be his side piece. Now, I forgot to mention that too. Mars and Aquarius can play the role of the side piece. So it would make sense that him and LeBron be getting it on because LeBron's married. Has Drake ever married? Siobhan said Drake just had that hot sauce on the coochie incident. What? What's that about? He putting hot sauce on coochies. So Drake is a big freak. So yeah. Now for him, that could just mean he's a big freak, but I think it also means that he goes both ways. He's like down for whatever. Yeah. Now let me see. His Mars, he got Mars square Pluto. That's a rape aspect. Now I'm not saying everybody with Mars square Pluto is a rapist, but he could force himself on somebody at some point, and that could mean that somebody forced themselves on him at some point. And with Mars being in his sixth house, it could have been a babysitter, it could have been a friend of the family. Let me see. And he got Mars co-ruler of, Mars is actually ruling his fourth house. Being an Aquarius in the sixth house, that could be a friend of the family that was watching him when he was young and was sexually abusing him. Because Mars square Pluto could be a sexual abuse aspect, but it can also deal with the suppression of one's sexuality. So he might be gay, but he might be trying to suppress that. And every now and then it comes out, because with that Mars square Pluto, it has to come out at some point. So just with Mars square Pluto alone, you can't trust a word of what he says. You can't, especially with that Pluto being in the third house. And remember I said Mars and Aquarius can be phony. And he did lie about some things. Like he was trying to lie and say that his father wasn't in his life like he was. And his father even checked him on it. And then that Mars square Pluto alone also could cause him to go through an identity crisis. Like he ain't even sure who he is half the time. I would just say he's a mess, especially because Mars is also squaring his sun. He another sun conjunct Pluto person, which can mean that he might have been dealt some type of abuse when he was young. And with him, when you got that conjunction, it could be where the abused becomes the abuser. Or where you even start to basically either identify with your abuser or you still have a close relationship with them or what have you. So it could have been somebody, because that conjunction's in the third house, could have been somebody like an uncle, relative, something like that, that was basically doing things inappropriate or exposed him to some sexual stuff early on and stuff. Wasn't he yeah, and he was in Degrassi. So he was a child actor, and you know a lot of them unfortunately have to go through some type of abuse, or they do suffer some type of abuse. A lot of times it's sexual. Hell, regular kids be going through it. So even more so with these kids that are child actors. So also that Mars square Pluto can result in him being exposed at some point. And his father did expose him, but it can also deal with where he can be self-destructive as well. He might even be facing criminal charges at some point. But that's Drake. So I won't put him in the perverted category. I'll put him in the freak category. I'll also put him in the questionable sexual preference category. He's definitely somebody where you want to check his booty hole. And I'm talking about every week. You should check that booty hole. All right, who else do I have on my list? We talked about Stevie J, right? What about Jay-Z? Now, Jay-Z has Mars in Aquarius. Do you think anything is perverted about Jay-Z? We could take a poll right now. If you think Jay-Z is like straight up and down, like regular type sexual person, press 1. If you think there's something perverted about Jay-Z, press 2. Is Jay-Z just a normal guy sexually, or is there something perverted about him? If you think he's a normal guy sexually, press 1. If you think there's something perverted about him, press 2. I'm pressing 2, especially because he was chilling with that Marina Abramovic, and you know she's that witch that be doing the whole spirit cooking and all that type of stuff. That's perverted in and of itself because she was using sexual fluids, bodily fluids, to like paint on the wall and paint stuff like you cut the skin open and do something with it and put some salt in it and shit and sprinkle some brown sugar on top. Then you got your whole sex magic shit and the ritual, all that spirit cooking shit. I'm like, I don't believe you could be friends with that bitch and there ain't nothing perverted about you. So, and I'm sure he's been to a number of Eyes Wide Shut parties and all types of stuff. Now, Diana said Jay-Z likes to get his toes sucked. Now, how you know? And I wouldn't even put that up with the perversion, but that's more so on a fetish shit. Now, I feel like Jay-Z is starting to come more into his Mars and Aquarius, and that's very evident with the way he wears his hair. Let me just pull up a picture where he's really looking naughty. Let me see. I'm not digging this freeform dread look he got going on, but that is very indicative of Mars and Aquarius. Somebody with Mars and Aquarius, remember I said could have a unique hairstyle, could wear their hair in an abnormal fashion. There could be something odd about their hair, and dreads, braids, locks, twists, all of that is Aquarius anyway in terms of hairstyle. Braids, all of that is Aquarius. So another person that got Mars in Aquarius, Alicia Keys, and you know she had those signature braids, especially the early part of her career. She was always rocking the braids, and that's very Mars in Aquarius. But you see that hairstyle right there? That's very Mars in Aquarius. And again, I feel like that hairstyle is kind of letting you know that yeah, he is on some perverted shit too. Like he letting you know he in a class by himself. And I'm not talking about a good class. I'm talking about, you know, on some Eyes Wide Shut type stuff. Aquarian Essence said he needs to stop. I agree. He needs to go sit down somewhere and just retire. He's another one that always got to stay relevant and all that stuff. What he got in Capricorn? He don't have nothing in Capricorn, but he does have Capricorn on his 5th house cuts. So that could deal with he has this need to stay relevant as a star. That also points to him becoming president of Def Jam. I don't think he's still the president. Ain't Snoop Dogg the president now? Jay-Z got a millionaire aspect in his chart with that Venus conjoining Neptune. You might as well say that's billionaire too. And Venus is ruling his 2nd house. So that right there is showing he's paid. But that also points to Beyonce too with that Venus conjoined to Neptune and Scorpio. Now, in some cases, that could be a beard aspect. But I don't see Jay-Z that way, like him using Beyonce as a beard. That can just deal with a number of secret relationships, secret affairs that Jay-Z has had while being married to Beyonce. Now, when you got Mars in Aquarius, a lot of times you want to be liberated. You want to be able to do what you want to do at a moment's notice or whenever the feeling arises. You don't want to have to check in with people and all that type of stuff. So trust and believe that they're basically in an open marriage, Beyonce and Jay-Z. So when Beyonce, you know, was talking all that Lemonade stuff and talking about Jay-Z was cheating on her and all this stuff, trust and believe she knows it. It's probably one of those situations though where she just don't want to see it. So when it's blatant in her face, and Queen Dara, you mentioned the Solange, yeah. See, that night it was probably too blatant in Beyonce's face, and that's what made Solange so mad. So they probably had this unspoken agreement that he could do what he wants. He could see who he wanted. And again, with his Mars and Aquarius, it ain't no questioning, really. This ain't up for debate. He gonna do what he wants to do, regardless. I'm pretty sure Beyonce don't want him to wear his hair like that, but he gonna do what he wants to do with that Mars and Aquarius, especially with it being in his fifth house. Because the fifth house is your free will. And when you got Mars and Aquarius, that's like you got this extreme willfulness, this indomitable will, where it's like ain't nobody can tell you nothing. And that's why he felt the need to rise up the ranks like he did, because he don't want nobody over him. He don't want no authority over him telling him that he can't do this and he can't do that. But trust to believe, Jay-Z is like a tyrant. He's a dictator with his Mars and Aquarius. All right, who else we got? Oh, here I got a perfect example of Mars and Aquarius, especially just in terms of weirdness and being where one's sexual preferences are questionable. So let me pull up this dude because he's a perfect example, especially when he played this role in the movie. That's just They tripping with that. Hold on. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. Now, the reason why I'm singing Michael is because when I think of Chris Rock, I say Chris Rock, Chris Tucker. When I think of Chris Tucker, I think about Michael because they were really good friends. You know, both of them were weird. Now, Chris Tucker has Mars and Aquarius. So he's one of them, you know, questionable in terms of his sexuality. Like you would have to be in order to play this role. This is from the Fifth Element movie. I don't know if anybody ever saw this, but if you saw Chris Tucker in action in this movie, he was basically playing a very flamboyant, outlandish, weird gay guy in this movie. Just check out that hair. The bleach blonde hair, that's very Mars and Aquarius. But why does that look like rectum? Why that look like an asshole that's blown open? Do y'all see that? Why did he have to wear that get up on his head? What's up with that? What were they trying to say? Yeah, Fifth Element was the shit. But yeah, just think about that. Now, a man with Mars and Aquarius, he could be as straight as an arrow, but he could still feel okay and comfortable being in a role like that. A gender bending, androgynous, or gay role, or what have you. So, yeah, exactly. Wide open bussy. Thank you, don't listen to them. That was a perfect way of putting it. A wide open bussy. That's what it looks like. Yeah, they was letting you know what position Chris Rock be in. Why do I keep calling him Chris Rock? Because Chris Rock has been in the news lately. Chris Tucker. They basically letting you know the position that Chris Tucker be assuming all the time with the gaping booty hole. And remember, I told y'all, check the booty hole when a man got Mars and Aquarius. Y'all think I'm playing? I am not playing. And Chris Tucker's booty hole is wide open. So that can explain why he was getting those big movie roles. Because let's be real, Chris Tucker wasn't that great of, I mean, he was good in Friday. He was funny. You know, his stand-up is kind of funny too. But you got a lot of funny guys. So when somebody gets some big roles, you got to ask yourself, what did they do to get those big roles? And a lot of times with Mars and Aquarius, there ain't no shame in their game. I told you, like, they could be shameless. All right, so here's another example. Here's another good example about somebody where you could question his sexual preference. These Mars and Aquarius be wilding out. I'm trying to find a real good one. Just hang on in there with me. Okay, this is perfect. Of course, I can't pull that one up. Of course. I've noticed that these websites are starting to not allow you to download a lot of these photos now. It's like they're taking ownership of them. Because I wanted to pull this picture up, but it's not letting me. What is up with his hair? No, oh, this is a perfect one. I hope I could get this one. Damn it. Hold on. They are really tripping. I know why too, because these celebrities ain't trying to get caught out there like that too much. And that's too small. Hold on. I gotta get the perfect picture to represent what I'm talking about. And this ain't really good enough. This probably will have to do for now. I can't even get that one. That one's guarded by the website. Oh, his hair is perfect. Example. See, I can't even do that. I'm gonna just have to share my screen, and we're gonna have to look at these photos together, since this person is obviously making sure that you can't access too many of his photos. All right. Can y'all see this? Who's that? Another Mars and Aquarius individual. Another one where his sexual preferences are questionable. Another one that doesn't mind doing the gender bending, androgynous fashion choices. He got his grandmother's blazer on right there. You know, she likes Chanel. So that's where he got his whole love for Chanel from. But yeah, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel that happiness is for you. Clap along. And you see that bleach blonde hair? I told you that's very Mars and Aquarius. Clap along. All right, let me get some more pictures of him real quick. See, I had to put in women's clothes because he said he don't mind wearing women's clothes sometimes. That's his aunt's jacket right there. Look like he spilled some grease on it. Clap along. He loves to wear, I mean, nothing wrong with a man wearing pink, but I mean, wearing your auntie's house coat, come on now. And here he is with his grandmother's jacket, courtesy of Chanel. So, yeah, he's very much into the whole gender bending type of situation. And again, Mars and Aquarius can produce a guy like this. Now, remember I said Mars and Aquarius can produce a music producer. So he's one of the examples. Pharrell being a producer, Mars and Aquarius, that fits very well. So that Mars and Aquarius explains why he's so good with the beats. All right, who else we got? I mean, we got a lot of gender benders up on this list. Here go another one. Another one where you might question his sexual preferences. Some of y'all may be too young for to remember when he was playing this role, but they've shown enough reruns where I'm sure everybody knows who this is. But this was during his early days, and he might use that as an excuse. He might be like, "Girl, that was my early days." He be like, "That's when I didn't have no money. I got you, and I'm ready to go." Remember, he would say that. LaWanda, wasn't that his name on In Living Color? Who's that? I got you, and I'm ready to go. And man, he'd be like, "I'm gonna rock your world." Yes, that shit was funny as hell. But he got into drag a bit too easily, and that's that Mars and Aquarius. Now, there's going to be certain sun signs that just make it even more easier to basically let it all hang out and to play that, gender bending role. Any of the mutable signs, basically. So that would be Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces can make it easy for you to slip into that other gender when you have Mars and Aquarius combined with that. So yeah, Jamie Foxx, definitely questionable in terms of his sexual preferences. And also he's like just really good with the gender bending and all that. Now he might have did some music production as well. And that's very Mars and Aquarius. And he did amaze people with his ability to play or portray, what's his name? Ray Charles. Like people were amazed at how good he was at playing Ray Charles. Now let me see if he got a Libra in his chart. That's if I even have his chart up or in my files. And if I don't, I'm not gonna feel like pulling his chart just to talk about some impersonations and shit. Yeah, I don't have it. I don't feel like pulling it. But y'all get the picture with the whole gender bending, the non-binary, the LGBT with the Mars and Aquarius, where the men, they really don't have any problem showing their feminine side, being androgynous, so forth. And Mars and Aquarius can produce somebody that's just goofy acting too. And Jamie Foxx, he goofy as hell. Now, he's a Sagittarius, which makes him a really good comedian. But also with that Mars and Aquarius combination, yeah, he goofy as hell. All right, who else we got? Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin has Mars and Aquarius. Whatever happened to him shooting that lady? Doesn't it seem like he got off kind of easy with that? And remember, I said people with Mars and Aquarius could be quite privileged. So it's like, number one, he has the privilege just because he's an actor, a famous actor. But, maybe he's also associated with some type of club or society or network that gave him the privilege of not having to face any charges or be questioned or interrogated too much. So Alec Baldwin has Mars and Aquarius. I wouldn't be surprised if he's done something strange for a piece of change, especially when he was young. So yeah, don't listen to them say everybody sympathized with Alec Baldwin, right? Seems like he got off kind of lightly, if you ask me. Now, yes, Queen Dara, Justin Timberlake has Mars and Aquarius. I have him on my list. Now, let's talk about his situation that is representing of that Mars and Aquarius. Remember, I said people with Mars and Aquarius can do things that are shocking. And remember when he ripped off Janet Jackson's shirt and her boob just plopped out? And if you, I feel like that shit was as staged as the Will Smith slap. I remember when that shit first aired back then, because that was the Super Bowl halftime show. I forgot what year that was, but I was like, yo, that shit is staged. If you notice, Janet was ready for it because she had her nipple covered. She had like this silver thing on top of her nipple. She knew he was going to rip that shit off. It was still shocking at the time, and people were appalled. People were like offended. And like I said, Mars and Aquarius can produce offensive antics or offensive actions, shocking behavior. So yeah, that's where Justin Timberlake basically showed that. Also, Justin Timberlake, he's always kind of leaned towards the R&B, kind of like black music genre. And that's very Mars and Aquarius too, because a person with Mars and Aquarius, they could be very tolerant of different races, ethnicities, different groups of people, and all that type of stuff. Yes, Mark Wahlberg, Mars and Aquarius, with him, he was always half naked in the 90s because he was modeling. Was it Calvin Klein he was modeling for? Let's pull up a picture of old Marky Mark. See, I know him as Marky Mark from the Funky Bunch because I'm old. A lot of y'all know him as Mark Wahlberg. But see, back in my day, we knew this. I was about to say we knew this. We knew this ninja as Marky Mark. And he was half naked all the time, modeling like for Calvin Klein and shit. So let me pull this up, which is very Mars and Aquarius. Like I said, a lot of them don't mind taking their clothes off. I'm going to have to just share my screen and pull this picture up because they don't want me to save pictures anymore, I see. So here he is right here. He had a decent body back then. He probably had to work hard for it. But yeah, he had that sexy going on. And like I said, he was always half naked, prancing around with that Mars and Aquarius. And he probably was getting naked during inappropriate times too. He probably let these ads go to his head. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had to do some strange for a piece of change because he was in the industry all early and stuff. And a lot of times I don't think we basically really be thinking about how vulnerable these young men are when they get into certain industries, especially the music industry, Hollywood. Think about it. You got a 19-year-old dude. He got a nice body and all this stuff. They're telling him to work out, to pump up for this movie and stuff. And next thing you know, he got 40-year-old, 50-year-old men trying to prey upon him and promising him all of these, rewards if he just gets on that casting couch. I would think for a lot of young men, especially the ones that are overly ambitious, they could be desperate enough, like Will Smith, to, jump on that casting couch. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was, oh yeah, let's not forget he was in Boogie Nights. And then he showed that fake penis at the end. Remember I said Mars and Aquarius can deal with sex toys. And basically he had the prosthesis. It was a prosthetic penis at the end of that movie. And he just let it hang out and stuff. That's very Mars and Aquarius. Yes. All right, next person. I'm not going to keep y'all too long tonight. We talked about Tony Robbins last time. Was it because he's a Pisces? But remember, he's another weird one, and some scandal came out about him involving some woman and him basically being an asshole. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was cold and detached too. That's how he's able to do these seminars all the time. Like, you can't, honestly, let's be real. You can't be one of those sensitive, empathic type people that really care about others, but you cavorting all over the world and you're selling your shit. You know what? Do y'all feel me on that? It takes a certain person to be a salesperson, number one. And that's what Tony Robbins is, first and foremost. He is a salesperson. Now, let me see if he got anything on Leo, because Leo is the sign of sales. Hold up. No. Okay, here he is. He got Uranus and Leo making a trine with Moon and Aries. So that's him being a top salesperson. Basically, he's like one of the best at what he does. He sells people on hopes and dreams, and he sells people on a better tomorrow, better life. Yeah, you see them chompers he got in his mouth. Now, what he got, ain't he a Capricorn South Node, which would explain those teeth? So no, he's not a Capricorn South Node, but he has Saturn in Capricorn and is squaring that Moon in Aries. And that could deal with having teeth that's just too big for his face, or where there's just something where his teeth ain't matching up with his face right. He also got Saturn squaring that Libra ascendant, and that could point to an issue with his teeth too. with that, he probably had people talking shit about his teeth, and that's why he got the real fake veneer ones. He went all out. He was like, "Fuck that! Ain't nobody gonna talk about my teeth no more. I'm getting the grade A top of the line veneers." And when you get those, a lot of times they don't come out looking natural. I mean, yeah, he could be the spokesperson for Polydent. There it is. Yeah, exactly. Quantum Heart Cafe. Now, again, remember with that Mars in Aquarius, he could be cold, detached. And I feel like you got to be kind of like that if you're going to be, again, gallivanting throughout the world and spreading your message and selling shit. Because, again, first and foremost, he's a salesman. He ain't this guy that really cares about you and he really wants the best for you. No, he wants you to buy his product. So, yeah, he ain't that type of person, but he will try to act like he's a humanitarian, and some of them Mars and Aquarius people could come across as humanitarian like. Now he got Mars conjoined Venus in Aquarius, so I know he's cold on a bitch. I know he is. And he got Mars square Neptune, which means that he operates funny, like he's shady as hell. He might even have a drug or alcohol problem with that Mars. And he's the type that when he does get high or drunk, he get messy as hell. And he's the type that'll cross boundaries and all types of stuff. He's shameful. He is a mess. Hey, Andrew. Daniel. Remind me of that episode from Family Guy where Brian got his teeth fixed. But yeah, sometimes when you get your teeth fixed, you really got to know what you're doing. You got to go to a dentist that, is really going to put the right teeth, in your mouth. Doesn't he look like a hump? Yes, I agree, Aquarius Essence. All right, a few more people. But y'all starting to get the picture, right? About how crazy some of these Mars and Aquarius people can be. We got Richard Ramirez. Let's just pull up a picture of him. He was one of the most prolific serial killers. He got Mars and Aquarius, and he was as cold as you can get. Weird, perverted. He even raped like an 80-year-old woman. Weird, perverted, just totally like objectifying people to the point, like when you objectify something, basically, or someone, or people in general, that means you could treat them any old type of way because you're not going to have any feelings towards them because you're treating them like objects, like they're not real people. And the whole objectification goes hand in hand with a lack of empathy. And like I said, some people with Mars and Aquarius, they could lack empathy. They could be that cold. They could be that sociopathic. And he was definitely sociopathic. But he was getting girlfriends in jail and stuff, and that's that Mars and Aquarius personal magnetism. So he had the personal magnetism that comes with Mars and Aquarius, even after some of these women, they knew how gruesome his murders were. They knew how evil he was, and they was still throwing panties at his ass behind bars. That's that personal magnetism that Mars and Aquarius can produce. So yes, Richard Ramirez was a Pisces and he had Mars and Aquarius. Just that combination alone. I want y'all to start thinking about these combos. Start thinking about how a person's Sun and Mars, when you think about those two signs, how that plays out. So if we're talking about a Pisces with Mars and Aquarius, they could be totally far gone. They're not even living on this planet really when you got that type of hookup. They're not living in reality. They make up their own rules. They live in a fantasy world, and with that, anything can be justified. This is somebody that just they're not normal. And again, I'm not saying everybody with that combination is going to be some crazy maniac, but that can be a scary combination. Sun in Pisces, Mars in Aquarius. I'll just tell you, I would not date a guy with that combination. Sun in, or even the reverse. Sun in Pisces, Mars in Aquarius, or Sun in Aquarius, Mars in Pisces. Both of them can kick rocks. I'm not doing it. I'm not trying to end up dead. And that's what could happen when you got both of those combinations. I'm just like, nah, I'm cool. Especially nowadays when so many people are crazy. That type of combination can really be crazy. I mean, you could end up in a man's closet, locked away for years, you dead, and you nobody even knows. Nobody even knows where your body is, none of that stuff. So let's just be glad that this man is now dead. Isn't he dead? Didn't they execute him? They tried to beat him to death in the street. They should have let the mob continue to beat him. But yeah, he was able to get away and he did life. I think he was given the death sentence. But yeah, just to let you know how dark Mars and Aquarius can be, Richard Ramirez, one of the most prolific serial killers, has that. All right, a few more. Remember I talked about Aquarius ruling braids and dreads and twists and locks and all that, and just unique hairstyles, period. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. And this was a major cringe moment for him. I'm sure when he sees these pictures from back in the day, like he's cringing. But this just shows you how far the whole braids theme, the dreads, locks, all that with Aquarius goes. All right, does anybody know who this is? Who's that? He got Mars and Aquarius. In the jungle, welcome to the jungle. Won't you bring it to you? Knees in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. All right, who's that? Yes, Axl Rose. Welcome to the jungle. It gets worse here every day. That was the shit, though. Axl Rose got Mars and Aquarius. You see what I'm talking about with the braids? The braids, the beads, the baubles and shit. But no, you see what I mean? Even white dudes putting braids in their hair, getting dreads and shit that got Mars and Aquarius. But I know he looks back on this time in his life like, what the fuck was I thinking? Knees in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. That was the shit, though. I used to love November Rain, too, by Guns N' Roses. And nothing lasts forever in the cold November rain. But yep, ain't that a hot mess? That is a hot mess. Why didn't his hairstylist just be like, Axl, no, I'm not gonna do that to you. But yeah, he can't even blink. You know that scalp was on fire. Yeah, he wrong for that. I admit, Kimmy. But yeah, that Mars and Aquarius will do it. It will do it. It's gonna bring you down. Huh. All right. So remember this dude. I don't think he's no longer with us. I get him confused with some of the other rappers that are kind of out there, but he's a perfect representation of Mars and Aquarius as well. Especially this picture. I hope I can get the image because they've been tripping lately. I knew it. Every time I try to click on one, it'd be like WEBP. And with that, you can't even save the image. All right, I got this one. All right. Who's this, y'all? And didn't he die? I don't be keeping up with these young rappers. I just know they're all troubled. They're a bunch of troubled souls. But who's that? Yes, that's XXX Tentacion. Yeah, he's Moonlight Orange said he is the dead one. She said he's the dead one. Yeah, so he's dead. Look at that bleach blonde hair. I told you that's very indicative of the Mars in Aquarius. The dreads, very indicative of the Mars in Aquarius. Him looking like some alien that just beamed down from Uranus. Yes, very Mars in Aquarius. Very weird dude. And didn't he force himself on some woman? Didn't he feel like he was entitled? Yeah, aren't those blacked out contacts? Yeah. Weird. Yep. Now, some people with Mars and Aquarius, they'll do everything in their power to come across as weird, strange, unique, different from the rest. Sometimes they be taking it too far. But didn't he get into something like, didn't he like beat up his girlfriend, or like it was a sexual assault or some shit like that? Aquarius Essence said, I am Aquarius and I keep my hair braided and I like the white braids too. Yeah, sometimes those white braids be looking sharp on people. I like it when it's, the right look. But I swear he did something to a girlfriend, or maybe I'm getting him confused with another rapper or whatever. But yeah, so he's another one that is very... So you said Mars and Aquarius are going to come in conflict with astrology. That could happen. The person could even be conflicted in terms of which astrologer to follow. They might, like what this one astrologer says. They might like what another astrologer says, but it might be conflicting because, astrology is so broad and astrologers will have different viewpoints on certain things dealing with astrology. So yes, you're very right. Mars in Aquarius, person could be conflicted in terms of what they believe, dealing with astrology. So XX Tentacion, he's another example of Mars in Aquarius. Here's another example, especially in terms of the inappropriate nudity. So let me pull him up. Now, I used to think he was real cute, but the older that he got, I was like, he ain't all that. He ain't all that. Oh my God. Oh, is that really him? Or is that photoshopped? Oh my God, I think that's really him. I wish I could show that. Oh, he got a nice one. That can't be. Now, that is definitely Photoshop. I should have never put nude in there. But he has been reported to have been in the nude at various times in his life. I think this is an actual picture of him. They said that he would be seen sometimes playing the bongos butt ass naked in his yard. Some of y'all know who I'm talking about. But put in, if you want to see what I just saw, I don't know if damn, where he at? Hold on. If y'all just want to see what I just saw. I already know they're going to limit my monetization. I don't even care anymore. Okay, so who's that? Don't he be doing Cadillac commercials now? Somebody said Marvin Gaye. That picture's kind of hard to see, but he's an actor. All right. If y'all that's Matthew McConaughey. So if you want to see what I saw, I put in Matthew McConaughey nude, and then some big, how do I say, a male member, graced my screen and was just in my face. That was like the first thing I saw, and I thought it was really his at first. And I was like, if that's his tool, I was like, okay, he kind of blessed in that area. But yeah, Matthew McConaughey has been known for being in his yard, playing the bongos outside, butt ass naked. And that's very much indicative of Mars in Aquarius. And he's just a strange dude from what I heard anyway, which is very Mars in Aquarius. Johnny Knoxville has Mars in Aquarius. If that's true, it makes a lot of sense. So Angela said, yes, he is blessed. Don't he look like he? Yeah, it look like he could get the job done. All right, so he's another one. He's in the nudity class. Let's talk about noses. Because remember, I said with Mars and Aquarius, some people might go through a nose change. So let me pull up. Oh my God. Let me hurry up and get off of here. Lord Jesus. Haven't seen one of those in a long time. All right. Now, granted, it's like, did she really have a choice in the matter? Because it was like, I think they went for a family special when they were getting the surgeries. So basically, she probably didn't have no choice but to go along. But I think that she was very pretty with her original nose. And then she went and got it chopped off, and then got it chopped off again, and then got it chopped off again until it looked like Michael's. So Latoya Jackson got Mars and Aquarius. So, like I was saying, I don't think she had a choice to get her nose done because it was a Jackson family special. When the surgeon was doing the slice and dice, and they was like, "Get in line, Latoya. You next." Because Latoya, like, truth be told, she was beautiful as she was. But you know how them Jacksons are. They're all very vain, and they all feel like they got to look a certain way and all that type of stuff. So she's a perfect example. Let me pull up another example of Mars in Aquarius nose job. Just give me a second. And once you see who I'm about to show you, it'll also understand why she didn't have no problem jumping into a new relationship once her sugar daddy passed. Cause I believe she got a new boyfriend, and she brought him into her life. Like what's his face wasn't even cold in the ground yet, and she was already dealing with him. Everybody know who that is. Who's that? So she got Mars in Aquarius, and she's one of the ones that changed her face, changed her nose, wasn't happy with the way she looked. Nene, right? So from what I heard, Nene already got a boyfriend, and I heard Greg wasn't even in the ground yet, and she dating this guy and all this type of stuff, which is very Mars and Aquarius. They can move really quickly when it comes to new love and all that type of stuff. So Nene Leakes, she basically sliced and diced her nose up, which can be a trait of Mars and Aquarius. And then let me see, we got another nose one. Oh, perfect example. And not just the nose, too. You could tell they've had work done on their entire face. Nothing wrong with getting work done. I had work done, too. But it's just showing you, like, Mars and Aquarius can cause somebody to go through drastic changes, especially in terms of their face. All right, just 1 second. They really don't have good pictures of before and after. She must have scrubbed the internet of all her before pictures where it's side by side, because that is not even a picture of her. Okay, that's good enough. And she's strange acting too. She's also had some hair issues. So she's had the abnormalities with the hair. She basically lost her edges. And just think about Jada when I pull up a picture of this chick, because how about both Jada and Tamar both got Mars and Aquarius, and they were both rocking a baldy. Remember when Tamar was rocking a baldy for a while? I don't know if she still is, but and that's why I mean sometimes it could be by choice, Or sometimes it could be by, they might have alopecia because of wearing all the lace fronts and the weaves and stuff like that, and getting things tightly braided on the edges and stuff like that. So isn't that interesting? Tamar, Mars, and Aquarius, Jada, Mars, and Aquarius, and they both went bald. Yeah. And also you could see the nose difference here. Looks like two different people actually. But yeah. And then some people have speculated that Tamar has light in her skin. I don't know about that. Jury's out on that in terms of how I think. But people that got Mars and Aquarius, some of them could lighten their skin. Latoya Jackson is actually an example of somebody with Mars and Aquarius that has lightened their skin. Yeah, I think she looked better before too. All right, I'm about to get out of here. A couple of more. And I hope I didn't miss any super chats. Here's another one that has went through a drastic change, and not just in terms of her face, but in terms of her whole body. And some people might have seen it as shocking. Just give me a minute. Okay. Also, there's some other shit dealing with Mars and Aquarius with this person that's quite interesting as well. So I might get into her chart a little bit. Now, who's that? Kawhi, you want me to do Lisa Left Eye Lopez? Yeah, she got Mars and Aquarius. She's on my list too. I don't even know if I had the strength to get through it. Yes, that's Adele. Didn't she go through a drastic change in terms of her look, in terms of her appearance? She started off a big chick. Now she slimmed down, lost a lot of weight, and she even got some flack from for it. So some people didn't like that she lost all that weight because they thought that she was represented for the big girls. But hey, it's her prerogative. She want to slim down, let her. Now, Felicia, you're saying she looked better thick. Some people, I will agree. I do feel like some people are just meant to be thick or fat. Now, her, I think she looks okay here, but I haven't seen her in a number of pictures. Oh, now she's dating a black man. Oh, get back. It's like, let me stop. But no, I'm not surprised. She seemed like the type. Now, speaking of men, remember I said Mars and Aquarius can be very tolerant of different races and all that stuff. But speaking of men, what I found out about Adele was that she canceled a concert tour just to be with her boyfriend. And I was like, damn, Adele, like who does that? Like she wanted to be with her boyfriend so bad that she canceled some of her concert dates. And she does have Mars at the 18th degree of Aquarius, and that could produce some type of conflict involving money. And it's squaring her Jupiter and Sun in Taurus. So that's like a boyfriend that's fucking up your money. So I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, she's digmatized. She even admitted it that because she came out about that story and she basically admitted that, yeah, she allowed this man to totally take control and she wasn't, doing what she was supposed to be doing. She wasn't performing and shit. Denise said he should have went to the concert. He was probably jealous that she, was this mega star and she was making all this money and all that type of stuff. All right. I believe I have Lisa Left Eye in my files. Let me see if I can pull her up real quick. Because I'm getting tired. I'm ready to hang this up and just work on some written stuff. And I got another demonic and depraved video for y'all real soon. Yeah, here she is. So Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Now, remember I said people with Mars and Aquarius could engage in shocking and offensive behavior. And remember, let me just pull up a picture of Left Eye. Remember when Left Eye burnt up her boyfriend's mansion? Andre Rison. He was a football star. Wasn't he playing for the Atlanta Falcons? And she got so mad at him one night, and it was over something stupid too. I mean, it was basically a culmination of bad things that Andre put her through. And she was dating Tupac at one time. So two people with Mars and Aquarius. I mean, when you share a Mars with somebody, you could really click with them like quite easily, I'll say. But basically, Left Eye burnt that mansion down because Andre Rison brought in a bunch of sneakers for himself and he didn't bring a single pair in for her. And Mars and Aquarius, that could be somebody that's entitled. So maybe she felt entitled to whatever he had, she wanted. But it could also point to his sense of entitlement as well because he was doing a lot of cheating on her and all that. So her doing that shocking thing by burning his mansion down is very much Mars and Aquarius. Now let me see if Mars is squaring anything involving like property, house. Oh, okay. So Mars is forming a quincunx with her Cancer moon. So that's her basically burning down the house. And with the Aquarius, that's like her using an accelerant. So didn't she use like lighter fluid or some shit like that? But yeah, she was a mess. And she was a 27. So she was definitely capable of doing some violent shit like that. Yep. So burning down her man's house, Mars, quincunx, moon, and Cancer. And with that quincunx, that could point to her doing it in an elaborate fashion, which she did. Because I believe she threw all his sneakers in the bathtub and then lit them on fire. Hey, low key Kimmy, thank you for your super chat. You said, "What's my living situation looking like? Will I get approved for this house?" Deneen says she was on that Aquarian privilege with those sneakers. Yup. So will you get approved for this house? Thank you for your super chat. And I'm about to wrap things up because I feel like I gave y'all a lot of examples of how Mars and Aquarius can get down. Now, I got the Eight of Pentacles for you. So that tells me that you will get approved. That's if you got all your ducks in order and if you can basically provide proof of, that you got decent credit, all that. Looks like whoever you're dealing with is going to work with you with that Eight of Pentacles. So good luck and congrats in advance. And let me just make sure there's no other super chats that I missed because I'm about to get on out of here. I might provide a couple of more examples before I get out of here. But let me just go and see if I missed any super chats. Also, let me check my email. Oh, yeah, here we go. So, Crystal Kitty, you sent me a Cash App. And you said for live stream questions. So if you're still live or you're still in the chat, post your question. And then Daniel, you said, "How will my Saturn return go?" Thank you for your Cash App. So let me answer yours first. Daniel, how will your Saturn return go? I swear you asked me this question already. Maybe you didn't. I got the Page of Swords, which tells me that you're going to be increasing your knowledge tremendously through your Saturn return. And it can also mean that you're going to become more discriminating. You might be more vocal about what you don't want. You might be basically doing things in a more, I'll say, liberated fashion with the Page of Swords. And you could be doing a lot of writing with that Page of Swords as well with your Saturn return. So good luck. And then where you at? Where are you at? Who is it? Let me see. Crystal Kitty. Let me see if I can find your question. Crystal Kitty. Crystal Kitty, if you're still here, please repost your question. If not, I might have to hit you up via email and answer it for you that way. But while I'm waiting to see if you respond, let me just make sure there's no other super chats. Okay, looks like I got everybody for the super chats. And then Crystal Kitty, did you post something? Did you post a question? Thank you, Bill Clinton. You said rumor is Lisa Lopez is now Marilyn Mosby. Please Google it now. Who's this Marilyn Mosby? Thank you for your super chat. Okay. Oh, she's that mayor or attorney. She was the one involved with the Freddie Gray case, wasn't she? And then she recently got in trouble with the law. I'm sorry, there's no way that's Lisa Lopez. I'm not buying it. Let me pull up a picture and show y'all who he's talking about. But she recently got caught up in some type of fraud or something where she was using government funds to, I think, fund her vacation home or some shit like that. But yeah, I do not believe that's Lisa Lopez. I'm sorry. No, I'm not buying it. Yeah, the district attorney of Baltimore. Didn't she get caught up in some type of scandal? There you are, Crystal Kitty. Post your question real quick so I can get on up out of here. And some more just to talk about some other celebrities that I didn't mention. Let me see. Justin Bieber has Mars in Aquarius. Harry Styles, that speaks a lot about his style and fashion choices. Justin Timberlake, we talked about him. Missy Elliott has Mars in Aquarius. Dorothy Dandridge. Lizzo has Mars in Aquarius. Alicia Keys, I mentioned her. Snoop Dogg has Mars in Aquarius. He does the gender bending shit. Sometimes he'll have his nails painted and everything. Brandy Norwood, y'all know how I feel about her. Floyd Mayweather Jr., Farrah Fawcett and Ryan O'Neal, they were a couple for years, and they were freak nasty with the having both Mars and Aquarius. Y'all remember that Condoleezza Rice? Remember Condoleezza Rice could never get her hair quite right? Oh, I got you, Crystal. Let me just pull up a picture of this Condoleezza Rice. This is what I mean about this Mars and Aquarius and the hair situation. Sometimes it could just mean that the person just can't ever get their hair right. Now, if you look at her in modern times, it looks better than how it used to be. But when she was, under President Bush, and I swear that was President Bush's side piece, I would be like, yo, who the hell's doing this bitch's hair? Here go a good one right here. No, that ain't even a good one. She got that Mars and Aquarius face. She's another one that had a very unusual life, very unusual upbringing. This bitch can speak fluent Chinese and shit. Probably Mandarin and Cantonese and shit. But y'all remember Condoleezza? Yeah, and them bumped ends. There you go. Don't listen to them. She could never get that hair quite right. But yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, with that type of shaped head, you got to get the right type of hairstyle. You got to get it right. Like, come on now, Condi. Yeah, they called her Condi. She got in real good with the Bush family. They love her to death. So, again, I think that was George Bush Jr.'s side piece. And George Bush Jr. was into black women because there was another story about this black mistress he had that ended up dead. Yep. All right, so let me answer your question, Crystal Kitty, and let's get out of here. Hey, Keone. All right, Crystal Kitty. Will my work production increase? I have 30 days or I'll lose my job. Well, damn, you better get on it instead of being on this super chat or a live stream. Wasting your time. You need to be doing some work. No, I'm just playing. All right. Will your production increase? You have 30 days or you'll lose your job. I'm sorry to hear that. All right, let's see. But you can tell Condoleezza Rice, especially if you've seen her talking in action, you could tell she's very cold and detached. So she's one of those cold Mars and Aquarius people. Now I got the devil card, Crystal Kitty, which means that there could be something that's impeding your ability to increase production. So it's kind of like you have to work under some constraints or limitations, and that could be the main issue. You might want to talk to your boss and let them know that, look, you're trying your best. That's if you get down to the wire and your production still hasn't increased. Because it looks like there is something that is limiting you that could be, making your job harder to do. So with that devil card, it looks like you have to get some type of limitation out the way first before you can increase your production. Otherwise, it looks like you're facing a hard way to go and you might not be able to make it. But I'm not saying give up now, but you might even need some help, because the devil card can also mean that you could be working in conjunction with somebody, or there could be somebody you could team up with that can really help you with the production. So good luck with that. But yeah, again, you might need to have that conversation with your boss, and you might need to tell them, like, look, this is the issue. This is why my productivity isn't where it should be. And you might be able to salvage your job at the end of the day. Quantum Heart Cafe said, looks like she kills with a signature. But yeah, so I'm going to say goodnight. And thank you, everybody, for being with me tonight for this Mars and Aquarius live stream. And I hope that I provided some good examples. Hope y'all have more understanding of how Mars and Aquarius gets down. And if you would like a reading, you could go to my website. It's in the description section. Stay tuned for Aries live stream. And then, like I said, I got another installment of my Demonic and Depraved video series. It's going to be dealing with another rapper that is just off. Oh, and the rapper that I'll be doing, he has Mars and Aquarius too. So he's another one that's dealing with some weird ass shit. So I'll be posting that very soon, hopefully before Mars leaves Aquarius. So I hope everybody is doing well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Love y'all. Thank you so much for your super chats, Cash App, and just for your continued support. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, Diggable Planets. I'll see y'all patrons at the next watch party. Consider signing up for my Patreon. And I don't have the banner for that, but oh well. So I'll see y'all later. Take care. Bye, y'all.